Texas Search and Rescue, the Cajun Navy as well.
That's Fox's Mike Tobin in Kerrville, Texas. America's listening to Fox News.
Daniel Velos, Permian Ford Lincoln, right here in Hobbs, America, corner of Del Paso and Sanger, and it is the final countdown, ladies and gentlemen. We have 2024 F-250, F-350 Super Duty models coming in by the truckloads, and we're going to get rid of them, and we're going to do it right within 20 days. That's right, 20 days to get rid of these bad boys and give you the best deals of the year on Super Duty from Ford. This never happens. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Hit us up right here at Permian Ford Lincoln, corner of Del Paso and Sanger, Hobbs, America.
Oh! Shooters, get ready. The 4th annual Freedom Clay Spun Shoot, hosted by H.F. Sinclair, is set for Friday and Saturday, July 11th and 12th at the Eddy County Shooting Range, benefiting the Artesia FFA. The Clay Shoot kicks off with Friday night lights, gun boards, and dinner. Saturday's main event starts at 8 a.m. with 1 in 4 participants winning a prize. Gun board and lunch included. For registration and questions, call Robert at 365-5930 or the Artesia Chamber, sponsored by H.F. Sinclair. Registration deadline is July 1st.
Get ready for the 89th Annual Lee County Fair and PRCA Rodeo and celebrate the bounty of Lee County. See the Lee County Fairgrounds in Lovington come alive from August 1st to the 9th. Experience the thrill of the Extreme Bulls event and PRCA rodeos, or cheer for the little ones in Mutton Bustin'. Explore the Arts and Crafts Showcase, Carnival, and Yucca Building exhibits featuring 4-H, Open Youth, Flower Show, Farm and Garden, and Creative Arts. Savor the best fair food and shop with commercial vendors. And don't miss the Pioneer Iron Chef Contest, the Fiddlers Contest, and the Livestock Shows. The concert series kicks off with the Hispanic Heritage Celebration on August 1st and continues nightly from Tuesday, August 5th through Saturday, August 9th. It's a celebration packed with excitement, culture, and community spirit. Visit LeeCountyFair.net for more details. Mark your calendars and join the fun at the 89th Annual Lee County Fair and PRCA Rodeo, where unforgettable memories are made.
Carlsbad, get ready for the ultimate summer bash. Carlsbad Live, Cranked Up Country Nights, Cranked Up Records, and W105 proudly presents Wright's Carnival, the biggest carnival to ever hit Carlsbad. Yeah, I said it. July 17th through July 20th, head over to the Bob Forrest Sports Complex at 3213 West Lee Street in Carlsbad. It's gonna be heart-pounding thrill rides, fun kids rides, and a midway packed with games, delicious food, and so much more. Oh, yeah. Grab ride passes for unlimited fun, perfect for families and thrill seekers alike. Don't miss Wright's Carnival, July 17th to the 20th at the Bob Forrest Sports Complex, 3213 West Lee Street in Carlsbad. It's a weekend of non-stop fun. Paid for in part by the City of Carlsbad Lodgers Tax.
Holland J Trucking LLC of Lovington, providing services in all of South Central and Southeast New Mexico, on into Texas, with haul trucks, step decks, billy dumps, dump trucks, and backhoe services. We also have availability on forklifts, main lifts, telehandlers, pipe racks, and catwalks. With a new office and yard coming soon to Lovington, give us a call today at 575-396-1380, and at Holland J Trucking Haul for you.
At Franklin Veterinary Clinic, they're a full-service clinic that offers comprehensive care for family pets, equine athletes, and livestock alike. They have multiple veterinarians on staff providing the best possible care for your animals at every stage of their life. And when emergencies arise, they offer 24-hour ambulatory services and after-hour emergency care. The new emergency number is 575-808-7725. Franklin Veterinary Clinic, a tradition and excellence in caring, proudly serving Lincoln, Chavez, and Otero counties.
Are your kids riding safely? Did you know 3 out of 4 car seats are used incorrectly? Car seat inspection events happen all around New Mexico, free of charge by the NMDOT Traffic Safety Division. Certified child passenger safety technicians give parents and caregivers personal instruction on installation and use of your car seat. Make sure your kids are safe passengers. Go to safernm.org to find an event near you. Brought to you by this station and the NMBA.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Available now at Benny's Western Store in Artesia. New guns, used guns, lots and lots of guns are arriving weekly at Benny's. They still have plenty of boots, hats, shirts, and jeans, as well as purses and accessories for the ladies. Don't forget that Benny's always has free gift wrapping. Benny's Western Store, 205 West Main in Artesia.
Southeast New Mexico weather. Good morning. The forecast southeast New Mexico as we go down to 285 on this Thursday. It's temperatures at 100 degrees in Roswell with a 20% chance for a thunderstorm. 98 degrees in Carlsbad, Artesia, partly cloudy sky. 93 degrees in Lovington with a 10% chance for thunderstorms. Lovington temperatures tomorrow in the mid-90s, slight chance for thunderstorms. For W105 FM, I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts.
Your country plays on W105.
Where's the kitten? What kitten?
So why the kitten?
Cat lovers, today is your day to celebrate. Today is National Kitten Day. July 10th is set aside to observe all the fluffy adorableness.
Kittens? Baby kittens. They're so cute.
I like kittens. So I just want kittens.
Happy National Kitten Day.
You freaks ready for the big show?
It's showtime.
And good morning to you. It is showtime. We are here. Had a computer mess up yesterday, completely take a... And yes. So we're operating on the fly this morning. So
seat of pants.
Yeah, it is what it is. And Monica got pulled over on the way here. They are in
she's still getting a ticket. Yeah.
Well,
she's in the middle of that procedure.
Yeah, they're checking her. I'm really hoping they don't deport her. Monica, I hope you're not on that ICE retainer list.
Right?
I'm just saying. So she'll be here shortly. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'll get you updated with everything going on. Black Women's Equal Pay Day. Here's a great idea. What? How about Women's Equal Pay Day?
There she is. She did not get deported.
So she was not deported. That is a good news. I thought maybe she was on the... do not fly and the deportation order list. Thank God that she wasn't. And I was just speculating what the heck is going on. Monica's not here. So
we had the photo. You need to turn her mic up.
Yeah, as you can see, I wasn't going to do it until she sits down.
She was trying to
because she makes a abundance of noise.
You're right.
So we are operating on the fly this morning because our computer crashed yesterday. So we're over here. We can't play intros, but we're going to get through this.
We can play some things.
Yeah, I think I can go.
At least we got some breaks being able to go.
I can't drag it from here, but I can go get it from somewhere else. So now that I know that is. So Black Women Equal Pay Day. Also, don't step on a bee day. I damn well appreciate that. National Kitten Day, Pina Colada Day, Pick Blackberries, Blueberries Day, and Teddy Bear Picnic going on all day today. I did not get the question of the day sent in. So, Monica, if you want to come up with a question of the day and send that to Jen, I would greatly appreciate it since we're flying by seat of pants. So, did you get the ticket?
I did, but I'm going to go to court.
So you'll get the deferment.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So was it more or less than 100 and a 45?
Less.
Okay.
Yeah,
just
such
checking.
a
But it was significantly more. And the thing was, I wasn't even running late. Like, normally I'm running way later than that. But I think it's just a horrible habit that I have to speed. And I was like,
I can identify with that.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I can identify.
Yeah, and so I'm driving, and I'm like, is that lights? I'm getting pulled over. Holy Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, 95 and a 30.
Well, and then I told him, he was like, where do you work at that you're in such a hurry? And I said, the radio station. And he just looks at me, and he starts laughing. I don't know if he realized who I was or
I'm
what.
still writing you a damn
Well,
ticket.
if you remember not that long ago, Joe Embriali was on his way here because he was talking about what he was doing. He got pulled over,
Hobbs Highway is probably...
No, it was right out here.
Oh, wow.
No, I got pulled over on the Tatum Highway. As a matter of fact, right past the little overpass, whatever.
Oh, yeah, they sit out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he was a nice guy. Straight, cut to the point.
Yeah,
he wasn't rude.
God bless. Give me my ticket. I'll be on my way. I'll see you in court.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that deferred.
Yeah, I get the deferred. And, you know, they're glad to get the deferred because they get a little extra money and doesn't go on your insurance unless you get another ticket. And that's why I'm always glad that, if I get a ticket, it's right before I leave to go to the Philippines. That way I know I'm not getting a ticket in 6 months.
Sure.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Mattel coming out with the brand new Barbie doll. It's a type 1 diabetes doll. It comes with
What?
a glucose monitor and insulin pump.
It's plastic.
No. And Barbie, so cost about $30,000. And Barbie gets the glucose monitor. By the way, and her insurance denied it, of course. And she wanted to get on Ozempic, but insurance denied that too. So she's still fighting with the insurance company. But true story. Type 1 diabetes Barbie doll hitting the markets, and it should be interesting.
What is the point?
Well, just to, I'm still wondering if Ken has come out of the closet.
Well, no, I mean, you could do a fat Barbie and do type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
But what's the point of a type 1 diabetes, a disease that has no effect? I mean, they're just making regular Barbie dolls and sticking extra accessories in with it.
Well, I'm still waiting for Ken to come out.
Well, there's nothing to come out on Ken.
So,
he's kind of
wasn't
not much more than Barbie.
He wasn't really her boyfriend.
He was trans.
They were just friends.
He's just trans.
Yeah, maybe. Looks like former White House physician Kevin O'Connor pled the fifth yesterday, and it's crazy. I'll play the cut coming up. But the questions that they asked him, you don't take the fifth on those questions.
No.
They were like simple questions.
But when the lawyer tells you to take the fifth, you answer yes for your name, but then every other answer is supposed to be, that's what you do so they don't get you anything. There is a texter that has a really good question for today.
What?
What is the worst thing you've ever done, or how have you gotten out of a ticket?
Oh, there you go.
That's a great question.
Yeah. So the doctor's not telling the truth, evidently, but he currently, because he knew that Joe was not in shape to run the country and had imaginary friends. I think he understood that. So,
well, and again, why would you take the Fifth Amendment if the answer was no?
Yep.
In this case, you wouldn't.
Pretty sad, but they'll get one way or another. They'll get him. Yeah, they're going to subpoena him. Looks like NHL regular season is going to expand from 82 to 84 games beginning 26-27 season. And Sean P.D. Puffy Combs' sentencing is going to be October 3rd on those prostitution charges. So they didn't get him on the racketeering and all that type of stuff, but they,
So wait,
for
he
transporting.
was transporting prostitutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which would make you think they would be getting him on the other stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yesterday, I went to see my grandkids, and they stopped to buy a slip and slide. And I told my daughter, I said, why did you pay all that money for a slip and slide? I mean, you had the Diddy Lube, the baby oil, and Visqueen. I mean, $20 saved is $20 saved.
Duct tape, hefty trash bags.
Take part in this and save the $20. Let's do it that way. All right, number 877-396-W105. Morning show this morning. It's being powered by our buddies at Permian Ford. Stop in today if you're looking for a car or truck, SUV. They've got the deals and new incentives rolling out from Ford. So go talk to Daniel today. Want to chat with us? 877-396-W105. Text line being brought to you by Amigo Machinery, your Kubota dealer. Find them at amigo-machinery.com. Question of the day being brought to you by Lovington Auto and Truck Supply, your Napa dealer. They've got the big truck parts. They've got everything, and they got a wealth of knowledge. Find them Avenue D and Lovington. And, of course, broadcasting from the End of the Mountain Gods studio. Donald Trump yesterday, supposedly new audio came out. I'm going to be honest, I don't trust the audio. And maybe tomorrow I will play it. I want to do a little homework on that. I was running late yesterday because I went to see the grandkids, so I didn't get home late. Then start prepping. But Supposedly, Donald Trump reportedly threatened to bomb Moscow as part of an effort to prevent Putin to attack Ukraine, according to CNN. Now, these comments were made at a private donor gathering.
Supposedly.
Okay.
And, you know, with AI, I mean, I can make Monica say that she loves the devil on AI.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't, especially with China kind of getting slapped around nowadays. Look, anybody that's at a private fundraiser is a Republican because they're donating big bucks. You don't go to those things. There's $50,000 per ticket. You do not go to those things. But supposedly there's...
Well, if you're rich, you might be able to get your way in to do nefarious things. But.
So supposedly 2 people release the information. And, of course, it's in a book. Somebody's profiteering. But it's Donald Trump saying, you know, I'll bomb Ukraine. I mean, I'll bomb Russia. I'll prevent all this. No word from Putin.
See, I wonder if it was really...
Or was it a joke?
Yeah.
You know, I saw it and I was just like, I'm not gonna dive into that rabbit hole because I'm gonna be here all night.
Well, and you know how he is sometimes about that.
Yeah.
You know, because he's, for lack of a better word, bombastic in the way that he speaks. Sometimes somebody will say, well, what if he doesn't get in line? Well, I'll just bomb him.
Yeah, I'll just bomb him.
You know, and it was totally a joke.
Yeah, maybe. Secretary, looks like Secret Service finally suspends 6 agents tasking Donald Trump's assassination attempt in 2024. So those 6 agents are put on leave.
Almost a year later.
Yeah. All right, Monica, I'm going to ask you, why are we still investigating this? Can't we let it go?
Well, maybe. You know, but that's current. Like those are things that
was
happened
a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when was the whole Epstein thing?
So I'm glad they finally look in there were, you remember the stories of like agents taking breaks so they could breastfeed their babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not only look, I have no problem with women breastfeeding. I think it's an awesome thing. But you prepare.
Right.
You prepare the night before and you pump and you don't let somebody bring and those people that brought the baby to a secured area were they checked? So
but every other working woman who breastfeeds has to make preparation.
Amen.
Right.
So
should government work.
Yes,
completely.
Secret Service 6 suspended. And New Mexico State Police investigating that police shooting in Carlsbad. So the state police investigating that shooting involving a Carlsbad police officer that happened on Tuesday, according to state police. Carlsbad PD responding to an armed robbery call at Stripes, the gas station on West Pierce. And they found a man matching the description. And when the officers tried to engage him, the 43-year-old Gerald Barron fled on foot, according to police. Barron then reached in his backpack, and that's when police fired at him and hit him multiple times as he was reaching. He was airlifted to Lubbock and treated. His condition is unknown at this time. Barron charged with armed robbery, resisting, evading, obstruction, and other charges. And now the investigation begins as they reenact that shooting to find out if it was, if it merited them shooting the guy multiple times. And Justice Jackson, the dissenting vote on Trump's layoff ruling. All the other liberals sided with the conservatives, except
they actually
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
They actually looked at the law.
Yeah. So Ketanji Brown Jackson is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right.
Look, the law isn't about what feels right.
But Blake, it doesn't feel right. It just
neither does she.
It just doesn't.
Being in charge of determining what
it just doesn't. It just doesn't feel right. Yeah.
Wait. You know who broke the story on the Trump bomb thing? It wasn't. It was CNN. They're the original news source on that. So now I really don't trust it.
Yeah.
I don't trust
Yeah, and that's the look. I could have grabbed the soundbite, but I was like, I'm not going to. Because there's so much fake news. Look, there's information out there. Trump, Epstein talking about his best friend Donald Trump and stuff, and that has been proved to be AI generated. So until still all that comes out, and why now? Why now? So you can sell books?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it also said that it was during a period when he wasn't the president.
Right. Yeah, he was.
I mean, and so it can steal away from all of his successes that he's had.
Yeah.
Well, no doubt.
But again, CNN has been caught red-handed.
Yeah.
Providing fake news.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to, I'll pause. We're going to talk about Ruidoso coming up next. Blake, if you want to chime in on that, we'll do that first.
Okay.
Let's check the weather being brought to you by Randy Pettigrew, District 61 State Representative. He is fighting for Southeast New Mexico. Let me rephrase that. Fighting for the entire state, for what actually makes sense. Bringing common sense approach to New Mexico. I know it's different. Common sense. So, fighting, not just for his district, fighting for the entire state to protect our constitutional rights, federally and our state constitutional rights. So Randy puts out a newsletter, and from time to time, want to sign up for that newsletter, just go to his website, randallpettigrew.com. And this really comes in handy when it comes time for the sessions. And I still say there will be a special session sooner or later. And Randy puts out that newsletter, and it's timely, and he is ahead of most everybody else. So sign up for that newsletter. Go to randallpettigrew.com. Message paid for by Randy Pettigrew. 93 and sunny all day today. It was hot yesterday. Overnight low tonight for southeast New Mexico, 70, 94 tomorrow. Maybe some rain in the forecast coming up on Saturday into Sunday and even Monday. And Ruidoso, guess what? They're going to get some sun this morning. Sunny weather. 87 for the high, 30% chance of rain coming up late this afternoon, 20% chance of rain coming up tonight, and still some afternoon showers in the forecast for Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon and even Sunday afternoon in Lincoln County. And heat advisory in effect for Albuquerque up to 102 today, 70 tonight, 101 tomorrow, and maybe some rain just in time for Saturday in Albuquerque. Quick check of the weather being brought to you by Seminole Siding and Construction, a trusted name across southeast New Mexico. Exceptional construction and siding services. They offer everything residential, but they do offer industrial metal buildings and commercial metal buildings. They get the job done right from start to finish. It's a name that you can trust. Seminole Siding and Construction. Go to the website, SeminoleSidingAndConstruction.com, 575-391-1430. Check them out today. Well, it looks like the governor of New Mexico, the great leader, Michelle Lujan Grisham, has issued an emergency declaration request for federal response teams and, of course, resources to Ruidoso after that historic flooding. Ruidoso, of course, endured devastating wildfires, according to the governor, flooding last summer, and now more flooding has hit that area. And the governor has, of course, issued that emergency request. I'm sure Donald Trump will sign off on that fairly quick. And yesterday, a lot of people asking where can they donate. Humane Society resale shop, you can donate there. River Crossing Church in Ruidoso. Also, of course, you can just go to Lincoln County Foundation and donate there.
Yes, that's where they're asking everybody to go.
Yeah, but if
going back to go ahead.
There's a lot of shelters set up. Like you were mentioning that just a second ago, and even on the ENMU Ruidoso campus, there is.
Going back to her statement of how she declared an emergency, did you read where at the very bottom they quoted her as saying that she hopes that New Mexico would receive the same assistance that Texas received? I was like,
a little petty.
Why would you take shots at a time like this?
Because she's petty.
Right. But and then for
They're
whoever,
getting my money.
Yeah, and I'll say it again. New Mexico gets more than, I would say more. I think they get more federal assistance than any state in the union.
Correct. And Monica, to your point, she's mad because Texas has like HEB and other private entities that respond.
Yeah. So Ruidoso Downs destroyed by that fire. Of course, the racetrack, tragedy.
You know,
they had just rebuilt.
Well, and they did a lot of flood mitigation stuff that held up the last time, but this was record level. It was 20 feet, which is 5 feet higher than the record.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so it wiped out the track. And when if my news plays here in a little bit, they've said that the racing season is over, and this was the second leg of the Triple Crown this weekend.
Man,
and that's multi-millions and millions of dollars of economic impact to that area.
Just,
and what is it, like 500 people that work there? How many people work at the track?
Yeah,
There's
at
a
least
lot.
500. Yeah,
And
and that didn't include jockeys, stall guys, and trainers, and all of that.
The good news is that, I mean, even with more rain with possible flooding, is yesterday they immediately were able to start cleanup.
Right.
Because the National Guard guys were already there. They were already coordinating when they knew that rain was coming. They were stationed at areas around Ruidoso, watching bridges, watching all that stuff, so they can clear
all the debris, get it out there, and that way when it floods, that debris is gone.
Right. And
pray to God that it doesn't flood again.
Right.
I'm praying for you guys, for sure. So 3 dead, of course. Yesterday we announced that they did release the names, and sad that it was, a 4-year-old girl, a 7-year-old boy, and a man they say was in their 40s and 50s, and they were stationed at Fort Bliss and visiting.
And they were at the campground.
Yeah. Looks like Supreme Court won't let Florida enforce their immigration laws. Now, they haven't gone after Texas. Maybe Texas hasn't been taken to court on this, but the Supreme Court declined Wednesday to let Florida enforce its own criminal, illegal immigration laws, saying that is the job of the feds.
Well, I don't know how the Florida law was structured, but Texas was pretty clever in the way they did theirs, because they didn't implement their own. They did it as an extension and as an aid to the feds.
So the Attorney General of Florida said illegal immigration continues to wreak havoc on the state, that while the law cannot be enforced in the state's current application, I would suspect they're going to come back with and change something.
Yeah, when you say at the current application, that means we're going to change the application.
Right. Speaking of Texas, Greg Abbott ordered all flags flown, half staff, and in memory of the flood victims. That happened yesterday. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about Rhode Island man charged with threatening to kill Donald Trump, and Marco Rubio puts sanctions on a UN official. We'll discuss that. And police charge a bus driver in Albuquerque with a deadly stabbing. Morning show this morning being brought to you by Atlas Makeup Mirror and Grooming Tool, ×1, ×5, ×10 magnification LED lights. It is the best makeup mirror on the market. They also have makeup mirror that is it mounts right to your wall in your bathroom. It is perfect. But the traveling makeup mirror, the original, comes in a case that and the whole thing weighs less than 4 pounds. It is simply awesome. That's why makeup artists all across the United States that do makeup for a living love the Atlas makeup mirror. They love it, along with the very, very popular folks like Reba McEntire, Mandrell Sisters, and all. They love the Atlas makeup mirror. And local inventor Rebecca Long rolled out the pocket mirrors, small one $29.99, large one $39.99. Go and check it out, atlasmakeupmirror.com. Monica and the Tex. And then we'll take a phone call coming up in just a second.
Okay. Just a reminder, the question of the day is, what is the worst thing you've ever done, or how have you gotten out of a ticket? Any kind of ticket, speeding ticket, whatever ticket. And good morning, breakfast crew. I was wondering if you guys have heard of any updates on the bridge between Roswell and Artesia. I'm sure if it was up north, that thing would have been fixed a long time ago.
You're probably right.
Well, if you recall, I think it was last week, they had a story about that and how the engineering and design firm is still working on that.
Yeah.
And then when they get that done, and that was expected to be done fairly quickly, then the reconstruction stuff will kick back up.
Yeah,
and it won't take long. Like once they actually get to work, that won't take that long.
Yeah.
Sure. Daddy Turtle says Ken can't be gay. He comes in a box, B.
Well, he's thinking outside the box.
Yeah. And good morning, guys.
He slid that past you.
Good morning, guys. And Monica, I'm glad you wasn't deported this morning. You would have been missed. Smokey! I was speeding and I lied to a police officer that my son was attacked by bees. And the officer asked if he was allergic. I looked with hopeful eyes and said yes. And he let me go. Aw, that's funny. I hope that you don't bring up the Epstein. He's old news. You were supposed to report on Comey and Brennan, says Rick.
I think I can do both. I think I can do both. By the way, there's very smart people out there that are still talking about Epstein. I'm not including myself on that, being smart, but they're very smart people. One guy that I follow, Patrick Bet-David, very smart individual, and I'll play the cut, says this is a fumble for the Trump administration. So we'll play that. I think we can do both. And if we don't investigate stuff, we'll never find out that there were issues, or maybe who was behind the assassination of Donald Trump. I would like to know that information.
Right.
But if we don't investigate, if we just dig a big hole and bury our head in it, we'll never find that information.
Which the government does.
We do.
So
we
well.
do a good job of it. We do. Yeah. Couple more, Monica.
Let's see. Jeff Rowe is saying, get to work, a rocket. And man, every time B says MLG's full name and pronounces it perfect, I want to throw up. Just say MLG, B.
You want me to save some words
Some
and just
breathing time.
Okay.
I guess he doesn't want you to say Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Do you think the racetrack will open again in the future?
I'm
going
going
to
be honest. I don't know.
As well.
I don't know. I mean, the millions and millions of dollars that they've lost.
So yesterday, when there was an afternoon news conference about it, and the owners of the track weren't at the news conference, it was all the emergency folks. And Marilyn Crawford said he did not want to speak for the owners, but he had been in contact with them.
Right.
And he, at least this season is over, which of course was a heartbreak because they spent millions of dollars trying to make sure they could get this season because of last year. And there was somebody there that asked, is it ever going to reopen? And he said he couldn't answer that.
Well, and the sad part of it is that license, they can take that license anywhere.
Yeah.
And anywhere in the state and open up a racetrack. Well, I pray to God that doesn't happen.
Well, depending on where they would like to look at, they have to look at an area that's going to be temperate the time of year that they're running, right? Like you could not move that. Like Hobbs has a track. Mm-hmm. The Hobbs track couldn't run horses
this time of the year. No, it's just too hot.
But there are other places.
I hope and pray that doesn't happen.
Big Trucker C says, Monica, it's because she's a bitter, dirty troll. I can't stand her midget self. And Drew from Fort Stockton is saying, Monica, I can't believe you read that out on the air. I am clueless. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at Blake like, you're going to have to tell me off air.
I will.
Okay. Whoever started that fire last year should be charged in the flooding deaths as well.
Man, and we still don't know the names of the people.
Well, he addressed that yesterday, too. And one of the things was they've got an information request in the city of Ruidoso and surrounding areas. And the law enforcement agencies that are investigating that have come back and said no criminal charges are going to be filed. That's what he said yesterday.
They were
during
pretty
that conference.
confident that the two individuals, the boyfriend and the girlfriend, set the fires.
But one of them was done by lightning.
Yeah.
They know that.
Right.
They know that one of them was by lightning. But in the other one, they said the mayor yesterday said
No criminal charge.
that the law enforcement agency that's in charge said
FBI.
that there's not going to be any charges
Wow.
filed. And they're waiting for all the paperwork because the village of Ruidoso is going to post that freedom of information request
Let's get her
when
done.
it comes back. And
Yeah.
I applaud the
let's
village of Ruidoso for doing that.
Let's get it done. All right, I'm going to get to the tweet of the day coming up in a second. Rhode Island man charged with allegedly threatening to kill Donald Trump and other administration officials has been arrested. Justice Department yesterday said 34-year-old Carl Montag, 37-year-old Carl Montag has been charged with threats against the president, interstate threats, threats of assault and kidnapping, and murder of U.S. officials, judges, and law enforcement officers. By the way, Montag accused of writing a profanity-laced post on Truth Social where he threatened to kill the president of the United States. On Wednesday, Secretary Marco Rubio announced the U.S. has imposed sanctions on Francisca Albanese, the controversial UN special rapporteur on Palestinian rights. And so they have sanctioned this individual, and you know, because she was actually campaigning for political and economic warfare against the United States and Israel, and Rubio said that will not be tolerated. And so they have sanctioned this individual. And you know it's pretty tough in Albuquerque when a city bus driver has been charged with open count of murder after a deadly stabbing on near the bus Wednesday morning. It's happened about 6:30 Wednesday morning. Albuquerque police officers responded to reports that the bus driver stabbed a man outside of the bus. Paramedics took the man to the local hospital. He died. Police detained the bus driver for questioning. And by the way, that happened close to Coors Boulevard. In a statement, Barrichello described the incident as a terrible personal interaction that escalated into a personal loss of life. And lawsuits blaming oil companies for a Washington State woman's death in 2021. So she died, and there was a heat wave in 2021.
Right.
And so this woman died, and so this individual is suing Exxon, Chevron, BP, and Shell for climate change, saying the oil company affected the climate change, and so she is suing them, saying they knowingly fueled the climate change that led to and misled the public, that led to record temperatures, and Julie Leon died because of those temperatures. They say it got up to 108 in Seattle.
Look,
wow.
I'm just going to call a spade here. She's a dumbass.
Yeah, I mean, can you really blame? Well,
No.
I mean, look, chances are you go after, Chevron, Exxon, BP, and Shell, they'll go, here's $1 million, go away.
Well, that's very true. But then doesn't that open it up for
Opens up.
every car accident to go after the automaker?
Yep, no doubt. No doubt.
I'm just saying, where do you draw the line? Who is, if that person wouldn't have got up on time, so I'm going to sue the alarm clock or the phone alarm or Apple or.
Think about this.
I mean,
your coffee is hot, and how many lawsuits have we had because of hot coffee?
Well, I know. And we stopped taking people out of the gene pool. Let the dumb ones die.
I mean, yeah, the coffee was too hot.
What?
You wanted it hot, didn't you?
And I figured this out when all of this started. In 1988, when they banned jarts, remember the big lawn darts?
Right, yeah.
They banned those. And they wouldn't let you toss them towards each other, right? Then horseshoes was more popular again.
Yeah.
But then but then they had to dumb that down and they went to washers, and now we're to bean bags.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right? And so that, let the dumb ones die.
Yeah.
Natural selection was stopped.
You know,
right then.
I hate to bring up the Philippines, but when I'm walking down the road, I see open wires.
Right.
And I'm like, that would never work in the
Right.
United States. Somebody would be electrocuted. But people just keep on because they know those wires are hot done. And that's 220.
Right.
They're like saying, yeah, that's 220.
Because you're smart enough not to go grab it.
So-
And you know what? If you do, someone else is going to learn from it, and we don't have to worry about you anymore.
Right outside of business, there might be 2 wires just twisted together and not even taped up. I'm like, holy crap, somebody.
Well, and I can understand where you'd want to tape them for safety,
well,
obviously,
and,
to keep it from burning down.
Well, no, we would play the dumb game, push somebody into the wires. I mean, if I was a kid.
Well, I'm just saying, remember back in the day, there weren't all these dumb warnings.
Yeah.
Don't drink the shampoo.
Yeah. Tide Pods.
Yeah.
The whole works. Yeah. All right, we're going to get to Albuquerque mom and son sentenced for selling guns. Blue City residents vowing to keep pro-Trump political display out, and it ended badly. We'll talk about that. And Amazon, their Prime Day is not going so well. They are seeing a big decline in sales. Jeff Bezos like, how the hell am I going to pay for this wedding?
Amazon Prime Day is now extended.
We're going to rename that after.
Indefinitely.
As a matter of fact, as I was sitting there waiting for the cop to write me a ticket, I'm looking up. I was like, it's Amazon Prime Day.
Well, let me see what's going on in Amazon.
So I'm
as
looking
I
them
get
up, and the
ticket.
prices are the same. There's no saving.
It depends on what you're looking for.
Well, it's like going to a big box store and thinking that, like a Sam's or a Costco, and you think you're saving money. A lot of things you're not.
Well, and I'm going to bring it up now because I left my watch on the charger this morning. But like Apple Watches are about way good sale, like 40% off.
Well,
They're
and
only a couple $100.
the Samsung my wife just bought.
And ear pods and things like that. A lot of electronic stuff, there's some pretty good sales
Right.
on.
Yeah. I asked the wife, I said, after the show, I'm going back to the gym because I missed yesterday. You're going to come with me? And she said, starting Monday, probably, depending if my Samsung watch comes in.
She has to track it.
She has to have
I don't need to track what I'm doing. By the way, after my workout, I'll know exactly if I did any good or not. Yeah. Yeah, don't need to do it. All right, let's get to the tweet of the day. It's already 15 minutes away from 7 o'clock. Morning show this morning being brought to you by our friends at Zia Guns, 1907 North Main in Roswell. Over 1,000 guns in stock, handguns, rifles, shotguns. Shotguns are a personal, perfect home protection. It is. They've got a sale right now, limited supply, 12-gauge semi-automatic shotguns on sale. It comes with a hard case. And get in there and get them while they last for $159. They are doing cash discounts on all gun purchases, and they've got Benchmade knives, a new shipment of Benchmade knives. They've got everything that you will ever think about needing when it comes to guns, and a large selection of ammo. In fact, they've just got a big shipment of 9mm. So go check them out. 1907 North Main in Roswell, always closed Saturday, but they are open on Sunday. We're going to Gutfeld for the tweet of the day. I actually had this yesterday, and for whatever reason, I didn't get to Gutfeld. So I am using him as my tweet of the day.
House Democrats are claiming that their base is so angry that they're demanding a disregard for American institutions, even the rule of law. One voter even wanted Democrat lawmakers to be willing to get shot when visiting ICE facilities. Finally, something we can all agree on. Kid. But that's how you know when your party's when you hope your leaders get lead poisoning. One lawmaker said their own base thinks resistance to Trump is so futile that there needs to be blood. And they're tired of waiting for Tim Walz's time of the month.
That's a good
So
one.
after years of lies, from Trump is Hitler to Jasmine Crockett can read, they've worked themselves into a frenzy, saying Trump's got to be stopped by force. So as if given orders from above, a gunman in tactical gear opened fire on Border Patrol agents in Texas. Agents returned fire, and the shooter is deader than the elastic in Jerry Nadler's underpants.
I love Gutfeld. Love Gutfeld. All right, number 877-396-W105. We'll get to the texts coming up next. Morning show this morning being brought to you by A Custom Construction and Roofing and Insurance Specialists. If you still have hail damage and you haven't got it repaired yet, you got an issue, call the insurance specialist. Call Dwayne Pennick today. He can take care of you. 575-318-9725. Call Dwayne today. And look, this guy has been in business for 30 years. And for 30 years, they have had the A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. And I'll say it again, they don't give those out. A-plus rating like a participation trophy. Not everybody gets them. Only the best of the best gets the A-plus rating. So call Dwayne today, 575-318-9725, and they can take care of you. A Custom Construction and Roofing, warning you to beware of those unlicensed out-of-town contractors, because when they're gone, the warranty is gone. Donald Trump asked yesterday about Comey and Brenner. Here's what he had to say. He was asked a question by Peter Doocy of Fox.
James Comey and John Brennan, now under criminal investigation related to the Trump-Russia probe. Do you want to see these two guys behind bars?
Well, I know nothing about it other than what I read today, but I will tell you, I think they're very dishonest people. I think they're crooked as hell, and maybe they have to pay a price for that. I believe they are truly bad people and dishonest people. So whatever happens, happens.
Tell me how you really feel. Yeah, dishonest. By the way, Brenner responded to that. I'll play his cut in just a second. Well, let me play it now. Here's how John Brennan responds. I see no evil. I do no evil. There is no evil.
I testified in front of many, many congressional committees in the House and the Senate over the years, and I continue to explain exactly what we did during this process, why we tried to make sure we stayed true to our intelligence responsibilities and that we were not going to do anything at all to try to interfere in that election. And again, it was a challenging time, but also one I think that the people who actually worked this, both in terms of trying to collect intelligence prior to the election and then the ones who put together the intelligence community assessment, they really, I think, showed the best of what the intelligence community and what CIA is.
Boy, those guys are really good. I mean, the CIA guys are really good. By the way, he issued that statement on MSNBC, which tells me a whole bunch.
So what he's saying is they're really good at getting marching orders from the Clinton camp.
Yeah. So looks like the doctor for Joe Biden, when Joe Biden was president, took the fifth yesterday. James Comey talked about that.
I can tell you exactly what happened. Dr. O'Connor pleaded the Fifth Amendment, and I'm gonna read the first two questions that were asked. Were you ever told to lie about the president's health? He pleaded the Fifth Amendment. He would not answer that question. The second question, did you ever believe President Biden was unfit to execute his duties? Again, President Biden's White House position pleaded the Fifth Amendment.
So
this is unprecedented, and I think that this adds more fuel to the fire, that there was a cover-up.
So what's the next step?
Well, and here's the thing is he didn't even have to plead the Fifth. He could have said, I'm not answering that because of doctor-client privilege.
Sure.
Which is a whole different thing, because then they would have been like, okay.
Sure.
And there is some protection.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But pleading the Fifth, if you don't cite doctor-client privilege or you don't say no, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
So where will this go? God only knows. All right, trigger warning this morning. I will play one cut about Epstein from Patrick Bet David. I'll get to that coming up in a second. And Jessica from The Five talks about ice. And I'm like, really? And, wait, we got to bring the super intelligent into the conversation. Jasmine Crockett talks about fentanyl.
Look, I don't think she's stupid. I think she's more intelligent than people give her credit for.
Yeah.
But she's a communist.
And she's ghetto.
Well,
no, I think that's a show.
That's a show.
I think.
Now, granted, where she's from, that whole area is ghetto.
Yeah.
I get that. So she understands what it is. But in her professional life, she lives in a gated neighborhood in Houston, right? Is it Houston or Dallas?
Dallas. Yeah.
Anyway, she's in a rich area.
Right. Affluent area.
Mm-hmm.
But when she started her campaign running for Congress, she sounded very articulate,
right?
And she's a charlatan.
Yes,
she is much like the Barack Obamas and the
snake oil salesman.
Yeah, 100%. All right, thought for the day this morning being brought to you by Wakefield Oil. They've got 40 years of experience serving Southeast New Mexico. Check them out today. WakefieldOil.com, 575-622-4160. Serving all of Southeast New Mexico, parts of West Texas. They deliver oil and gas products and interstate batteries in the patch. So if you're sitting on location and you need fuel and you go, who am I going to call? Wakefield Oil. WakefieldOil.com. Thought for the day in memory of Mr. Wendell Wakefield. Thought for the day is I'm a type of person who eats all the popcorn while I'm before the trailer even begins. It's my thought for the day. All right, we're going to get to the price of oil in just a second. I'll get to that. Looks like Albuquerque mother and her son sentenced for stealing guns and selling guns, I should say. One of those guns was a machine gun. So the mother and son, who used Instagram and a 3D printer to traffic illegal machine gun conversion devices, were sentenced in federal court yesterday, according to the court documents, that between February 3rd and February 7th of 2023, Joe Jazzo, 21 years old, used Instagram to advertise and sell illegal machine gun conversion devices, which are used to convert firearms to fully automatic guns. And then he got his mom, Rachel Jazzo, involved in the whole thing. And they sold other guns. When they raided their home, they did find 10 other guns and 5 machine gun conversion devices. And so they were selling a whole bunch of other things. But they both pled guilty to engaging in business and dealing in firearms without a license and possession of a firearm gun conversion device. Joe Jazzo sentenced to 33 months in federal prison, and Rachel Jazzo sentenced to 30 months. When they are released, they will do 2 years of supervised probation. 2 years.
Interesting.
And Blue City residents vow to keep Donald Trump political displays in his home. So the Washington State woman plans to install a security system rather than take down her Donald Trump message from her window. So she's gotten various messages in her window. One of them is Police Lives Matter, pro-Donald Trump signs. Anyway, somebody shot through her window multiple times.
Wow. The violent left.
Yeah, and damaged one of her pickups that were in the. But the woman prefers to be nameless at this point. Said that evidently some of her signs triggered individuals. She says she will not take down her signs. And she's got the fight up there. And God bless America, love it or leave it. And then she said she will put up a security, system.
Well, this is just more indication. If you're a moderate Democrat, your party has left you behind.
Oh, absolutely.
And, Sam Altman said that the other day from OpenAI and how Democrats.
He came down fairly hard on the Democrats and said they're not even pro-capitalism anymore.
No. And if you proclaim to be a Democrat, you need to reevaluate that because you're probably independent because
Well, the
Democrat Party has moved so far to the left. If you're not socialist communist,
those
you're not a Democrat.
The party probably left you. Yeah. Looks like Amazon Prime, 41% plunge in sales. It's happening so many times a year now. How many times a year, Monica?
Several times a year.
Yeah. So
At least 2. I think it's 3.
So anyway, sales were down 41% on the first day of, pedophile taken off the table. ICE busted an illegal alien pedophile ring in Minneapolis. So ICE went in there. That's another sanctuary city, and arrested several pedophiles and sex offenders in Minneapolis yesterday, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Anyway, under Tim Walz's leadership, we have all these depraved individuals that are looking for a place to freely do what they do. And they have picked Minneapolis. And so they've arrested numerous individuals, including Pang Angelo Vang, who was arrested by ICE. He is charged with second-degree sexual assault of a child. And then Tong Lao, who was arrested on the same day. And then The Vang Laotian, that was arrested, pretty much the same charges, having sex with a child under the age of 14. And the list goes on. I can keep on with all these names that I probably can't pronounce correctly, but all these individuals. And so when I hear, well, Amazon's just going after brown people, it just seems like these names are not Hispanic names.
Trump, you mean? You said Amazon.
No. Well, damn.
I was like, wait a minute.
That was a tag. So when they say that, ICE is not going after, they're only going after brown people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use Monica as a perfect example today.
She's still here.
Did they ask you to prove your citizenship?
No.
Oh, okay.
Did they even bring it up?
No.
Did they ask your immigration status?
I'm proving myself.
I mean, and the officer was Hispanic himself, so I mean, it wasn't like.
Well, Monica, those are the worst kind. According to the left, those are the worst kind. Yeah, no, because they said, all these people that have forgot where they came from, and
like the United States.
Hispanics are arresting other Hispanics. It's terrible.
So they forgot they came from the United States.
I have to always revert back to the numbers. What's the Hispanic population in America?
I don't know.
I think it's about 40%.
Yeah, it's 40%. So 330 million people
in America.
The Hispanic population in America.
So you're doing it? Okay. My point is, how many people have been arrested by ICE? How many people have been detained by ICE? I guarantee you that number is not even 0.5%.
Okay. As of 2020, the Census Bureau estimated that there were almost 65.3 million Hispanics and Latinos living in the United States and its territories.
Thank you. So
but that also counts Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Right.
So the entire population.
Yeah, that encompasses a lot of territory. All right, KWMW Maljamora, 105.1 FM. Also KDAZ AM 700 FM 96.9 in Albuquerque. And in Rio Doso, KWES 93.5. Monica and the text will come back. I got the Epstein cut from Patrick Bet-David. And we'll talk about Veteran Affairs. They are scaling back some of those cuts. They're making some revisions. And we'll check in with news coming up in just a second. By the way, if we sound a little different this morning, we are operating on the fly this morning, but on the air. Monica and the text.
All right, this texter said there is no Democrats, but rodents. It's time to set some rat traps. The texter said.
Okay.
ICE hates Mexicans. LOL.
You what? ICE hates Mexicans? No, they don't.
No,
they don't. Look, those individuals are doing their job.
Correct.
And if they have an arrest warrant, so does that mean all police officers? Because if they have an arrest warrant for a pedophile in Hobbs, New Mexico today, and that person turns out to be Hispanic, they don't hate that person.
Right.
No.
They're doing their job.
Correct.
I agree. Daddy Turtle says, I need to apologize for the Ken text earlier. Realized it could be a bad thing for the station. Apologies to the Breakfast Club.
Oh, no.
I forgive you, and you're good. I when you guys send in those texts, sometimes I catch them. Sometimes I just read them because I don't think like y'all. And so when I read them and the guys are like, Monica, and I'm like, what? What did I do wrong? So there you have it. My Janie saved $30 on a light fixture for our bathroom on Amazon Prime Days.
There you
Good
go.
for you guys. Corey from Hagerman says, in Hagerman, I've never gotten my package in 2 days. Amazon Prime. So screw that guy. I think not enough people pissed on an electric fence as a child, and it shows.
Yep.
Said this texter. Kathy from the Patch said, Blake is right. Natural selection has died. Hence, we have the Democratic Party now.
Yeah.
Amen.
LOL.
Yeah, have you ever seen some of these protesters?
Yeah.
Oh,
They wouldn't have made it.
Dude.
Oh, gosh.
What is the matter with you? Your mother coddled you as a kid. I mean,
Well, it's obvious they never did anything.
did you see the video from Seattle that police were at the courthouse? ICE was at the courthouse, and these protesters are battling ICE. Now, part of the problem is, I believe ICE is not rough enough.
I agree.
I mean, I think you start using your stun gun when they're jumping on the car and stuff like that.
Yep.
Just stun them. Just stun them. I don't think we're tough enough, and I understand why, because they don't want to get that look, you're going to get that bad rep no matter what.
Right.
Maybe they could have something in their cars to where when they're all grabbing a hold of the car, they could do something that just runs an electrical current through.
But, I mean, they're pushing these people out of the way. I couldn't do that job.
Look, it just go back to you don't have to go that far back, 70s, 80s.
Oh, no, I mean.
If you tried to attack police.
Even 90s.
The way that these people try to attack police, they would be taken down.
They're swinging at the police.
Yeah, the cops would take them down and take them to jail.
And I think that's what needs to happen. They need to be
100%.
taken down, and it sends a message, you don't mess with these people.
Well, that's back when we had law and order.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have law and order anymore.
That's done.
Big Poppy is saying, good morning, Breakfast Club. I'm headed to Taos, and I wanted to ask the listeners, as well as you guys, for somewhere good to eat breakfast.
Maybe somebody can let you know, because I've never been to Taos, but maybe I should go to Taos.
This texter said, so am I dumb because I don't follow the Epstein case?
No. I mean, if that's your personal, but the point is, I'm a conspiracy theorist from day one. I mean, I've admitted that multiple times, but we wouldn't know exactly what happened to JFK.
No.
All these years later, if we wouldn't have people like me that go, I know that's not true.
Right.
I know the truth is.
Well, and again, the CIA started the whole term conspiracy theory to cast doubt on anyone who asked the question.
Yeah.
They wanted to, like Kevin, you asked the question, they want to dismiss you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the way they try to do it.
I'll play Patrick Bet-David coming up in a second about that. Couple more, Monica.
All right. This texter said, Hobbs could do the races for Ruidoso. It would just have to be at night. They would have to put up some lights.
Yeah.
And man, I never got out of a ticket, but I've witnessed my lady get out of tickets by working her tears and lying. Let me try that. I'll probably get an extra ticket for being a wuss.
I'll be like,
Said Sam the man. Elmer says, when I was active military and got pulled over while on leave away from a base, I would accidentally hand the officer my military ID
There you
instead
go.
of my driver's license.
Yeah,
that's
and
smart.
be like, my fault. It worked about half the time. Hey, that is smart. Monica, if there's no Epstein list, then why was he in jail? Fun fact, the prosecutor for Epstein's girlfriend was the same for P. Diddy and the daughter of the old FBI director. That's from Rocket. Big Country says, so it appears that the statute of limitations for the perjury allegations concerning Comey and Brennan have long passed.
oh, wait. That doesn't matter. I mean, we brought Trump up on charges that the statute of limitations expired.
You created new charges.
Yeah. I mean,
Right. He went on to say, as I told y'all yesterday, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Boring and predictable. Y'all ready for this? Okay, wait, let me do Big Trucker C's first. I'm not going to lie. I got a ticket one time. I told him I just simply had to take a big old poop, and it was either going to come out on the seat or come out in the toilet. He laughed and let me go.
No, that's a great excuse.
Exactly. Boring and predictable. Epstein's ties to Israeli intelligence didn't shock Bannon. They confirmed what he already believed, that the American empire is in decline, hollowed out from within by elites who sold their
American
autonomy
hater.
for access, protection, and power.
Democrats sure did.
In that crumbling order, surveillance replaces trust, blackmail replaces law, and sovereignty is a
Man,
myth.
that sounds like a cut and paste to me.
Yeah, he's up early.
Yeah.
It's 7:05.
Oh, wow.
His mom must have woke him up.
Welcome to the real world.
His mom must have woke him up. Baby, sugar plum.
And that's a cut and paste, but has a Democrat ever posted anything that is more reflective of the Biden administration than that post right there?
I'm good
because
with that.
everything he said was exactly the Biden administration.
A to the men.
And I don't think he realized it.
I'm good with that. All right, let's get to price of oil so we can take a break. Being brought to you by Spinnaker Cementing Solutions, division of CUD Energy Services. Spinnaker, they have 25 cementing crews. New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma, 200 experienced cementing professionals. They're ready to go to work for you. If you need cementing solutions, Spinnaker is the team to call. Go to SpinnakerOil.com or visit them 324 North Magnum Industrial Road in Hobbs.
West Texas Intermediate is down about 61 cents this morning at 67.77. Brent crude is off 55 cents at 69.64. Natural gas is up 4 cents to $3.26, while the wholesale cost on gasoline is $2.17 this morning.
All right, Patrick Bet-David. Here's a guy that I do respect. The guy is very, very smart and a big-time Trump backer, as I am a big-time Trump backer. But here's what he said about the Epstein list, and I promise you this is my only cut about the Epstein list.
This is why people are asking about this. This is by far, and I'm a supporter. 3 times I voted for this man. This is by far the biggest fumble of the administration they've had thus far. And here's the reason why. If you remember the president winning, he had a conversation with Fox News, the great Rachel Campos Duffy, and she asked, Mr. President, 9/11, yes. John F. Kennedy, yes. Epstein, he didn't say yes. He was a little bit hesitant of bringing that information out. Why? So why does his leadership team go out there and are like, we have this information and we're going to release this and cash? And let me tell you what we have with Pam Bondi out of the state of Florida. She knew everything about Bondi, about Epstein. Why are you fumbling this? Why are you not having an emergency meeting together to conversate and say, hey, we're going to be on the same page with messaging on this? All you have to do is send a message to everybody, say, God, let's have a conference call. Here's what we're going to be saying about this, because this was a very important issue to not 80% of the voters that voted for President Trump, but I think 20% of the voters wanted to know what's going to happen with Epstein, and it's a big letdown. No.
So, and I think he's spot on. Look, he's not blaming President Trump. He's just saying that the team needs to be on the same page. And it was a fumble.
Yeah.
So, on the way, we're going to talk about Jessica from the Five. Monica, somebody said yesterday you were the Jessica.
I was the Jessica.
That's
I felt like I was being the Jessica.
Yeah.
The Democrat.
And Jasmine Crockett mocks fentanyl. We'll get to that. I'd love to look up how many legislations has she got out of committee. I mean, is she the Gabe Vasquez of Texas?
I bet she's forced some through.
Yeah. You think so? So we'll get to that. All right. Looks like Veterans Affairs Department scaling back a lot of the cuts. The initial target was eliminating about 80,000 jobs from the Veterans Affairs, but it looks like they're going to scale that down, probably to about 30,000 jobs eliminated, which is still a lot of jobs that are eliminated. And they said they could be only 17,000 jobs in the interim. And then, over the next year or so, they will start scaling back jobs that are not needed. They said their number one job is to improve care of our veterans. So Secretary of Veterans Affairs saying that he's looking for people. He's looking for the right people to do that job. Of course, his name, he was a congressman for a long time, Congressman Collins, and good guy. Looks like Joe Scarborough of MSNBC putting Gavin Newsom on notice. This is kind of crazy that MSNBC is going after Gavin Newsom, saying Gavin Newsom is traveling around to North Carolina all over the place,
right,
while his state suffers from quality of life issues. Thank you, MSNBC, for actually calling out somebody on the left.
But listen to how they couch that. Quality of life.
Quality of life issues. And Mandawi, the candidate for mayor of New York City, back when COVID was going on, he called for seizing of luxury townhomes and luxury homes in New York City. Seizing.
Yeah.
Now, who seizes property?
Communists.
Yeah, so back in 2020, he said that there was an emerging amount of homeless, and he thought that, some of these luxury homes that were second homes for individuals should just be seized and given to the homeless. Wow. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
In America, we don't seize property unless you don't pay your taxes. That's a total different thing. But we don't do stuff like that. That's interesting. All right, quick check of the weather being brought to you by Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply, 1105 East 2nd in Roswell. Homegrown and proud of it. They've got you covered with everything that you need. Living on a farm or ranch, looking for feed, they are your certified Purina dealer. They have a complete hardware store, pumps. They've got everything, plumbing supplies. They also have fencing material, trailers, tank, tack, looking good Western clothes, work gear. Check them out, 1105 East 2nd in Roswell. Also in Capitan at the Lincoln County Mercantile. Weather for the day, southeast New Mexico. It's going to be nice. Sunny skies, a little warm, up to about 93. And then in Ruidoso, sunny skies this morning, 87 for the high, 30% chance of rain by this afternoon. You also have rain in the forecast, mostly in the afternoon throughout the entire weekend. And in Albuquerque, it's a hot day today. Heat advisory up to 102. Hot weather tomorrow up to about 101. 5-day forecast, go to W105radio.com. Quick check of the weather being brought to you by La Tienda in Pecos, Texas. If you're new to Pecos, you can find them at 810 South Eddy. They've got the big sales going on right now. You can find chicken tenders, $2.49 a pound. Also, the sirloin cut pork chops, $1.49 a pound. Sirloin steaks, just $7.99 a pound. And the sliced bacon, Food Club bacon, 12-ounce pack for $3.99. Produce department, the Rainier cherries are $3.99 a pound. Red ripe tomatoes, 99 cents a pound. Squash, 99 cents a pound. And avocados are 2 for $3. In the deli department, get the turkey, smoked or mesquite smoked, honey smoke or mesquite smoke, $7.99 a pound. Honey ham or smoked ham for $4.99 a pound. And then they also have the bread to make yourself a sandwich. They've got the top wheat bread. One loaf is just $1.58. And looking for the refreshments that you might need for the weekend, get the 12-pack of 12-ounce cans, Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Lite for $10.99. Check it all out today. We got a lot of things to get to when we return. It is a beautiful day today. One more day before the weekend is finally here. God bless.
Right.
Well, I mean, this week is kind of...
been screwy.
Yeah, well, no doubt about that. But at least we're here on Thursday, so we're flying by the seat of our pants this morning. Monica, anything before we break?
Oh, there's a lot, but we'll end with this one. My wife worked for the PD when I got pulled over. I never used her name. I took the ticket and thanked the officer for doing their job. And this is the one I meant to end with. I got stopped by DPS, and when he walked up to the car, I pulled down my shirt. He asked me what I was doing. I asked, "Don't it work for women?" He laughed and told me to have a good day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, comedy works most of the time.
Oh, Chuck from Hobbs said, my daughter was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. My wife would offer a police officer a picture signed. She never got a ticket.
Wow, that is awesome. That's whatever works. All right, did you see President Trump yesterday telling the African leader to get on with it? Well, we'll talk about that. He signed big agreements yesterday with Africa, which is very important because China's been in there trying to make deals. Trump also unveiled the new tariffs. How much money have we made off of tariffs? The number is staggering.
Really?
I will get to that with Secretary Bissett coming up in a second. And migrants are suing to stop Trump from deporting them and invoking racism, of course. Of course, invoke the racism. Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, you got anything else you can use? No. So invoke racism. But the number when it comes to how much money that we're going to make off of tariffs, how much money we've already made is crazy. So we'll get to that in just a second. All right, number 877-396-W105. It's already 17 after 7 news this morning being brought to you by North Star Laundry, one-stop shop for all your laundry. So they can wash, dry, and fold your clothes, dry clean them, press them, starch them, keep you looking good. Walk in, drop off your clothes, pick them up a couple days later, and you are good to go. This is perfect. If you're an empty nester, why are you spending the entire weekend washing clothes? Let them take care of that for you. Not an issue. Now, if you want to wash, dry, and fold your own clothes, they have 3 locations that you can do that. Coin-operated machines open 7 days a week in Carlsbad, 609 West Lee, and 604 West Church, and in Loving at 406 West Cedar, North Star Laundry. Check them out today. We're taking a break. We're coming right back. We're B and the Breakfast Club.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. Devastation has hit Ruidoso again as historic flooding caused the Rio Ruidoso River to rise 20 feet, which is 5 feet higher than the previous record. Tuesday night, a 4-year-old girl, 7-year-old boy, and a 40 to 50-year-old man were swept downstream and killed. Dozens had to be rescued and homes were destroyed after violent flash flooding.
So at this time, we've got the 3 victims. At this point, we're not releasing, and we haven't released any information about their whereabouts or identities, simply for the fact that some of them are still being identified, and we're not going to have that information out before we contact families.
Search and rescue will continue, and crews have already rescued more than 65 people from the floodwaters.
The majority of the rescues started in the Upper Canyon area, and then we had one mid-Sutterth and then Gallon Canyon. We had people in trees, we had people in the water, people trapped in houses with water coming into them. You name it, we were having to address it.
Ruidoso Downs Racetrack has also been damaged from the flooding, and Ruidoso Mayor Lynn Crawford said,
I don't want to speak for the racetrack ownership, but I have been in contact with them. The racing season is canceled for 2025.
And that has an economic impact on the area.
Well, I can tell you the racetrack is $150 to $160 million a year impact to this region, that it employs 500 to 600 people out there. This was the second leg of the Triple Crown of Quarter Horse Racing, which was supposed to start this Friday, Saturday, and conclude on Sunday. That is not happening. Those are multi-million-dollar races, so as you can imagine, a lot of that revenue will not be coming into town.
On Wednesday, cleanup began, including help from the New Mexico National Guard.
So we did have assets before, during, and after from the National Guard. They're a wonderful partner, and we're really glad to have them.
Said Emergency Manager Eric Queller. Village officials are asking anyone who is missing family due to the flooding to call the Ruidoso Emergency Operations Center at 575-637-0398. And the Ruidoso Community Center at 501 Sudworth Drive is open for anyone needing temporary refuge, as well as the ENMU Ruidoso campus and the Angus Church of the Nazarene. The Humane Society of Lincoln County stated it will post about any lost animals that come in and ask anyone with a missing pet to call 575-257-9841 to make a report. Village officials are asking for those not already in the Ruidoso area to please not come to the area until it is safe. And those wishing to help should contact the Community Foundation of Lincoln County at cfolc.org.
We are not encouraging people to come to Ruidoso right now. It's just not safe. We have a lot of damage that's being done. While there are folks in town that is safe for them to be here where they're at, but no, we are not encouraging people to come to town.
And that's the way it is. I'm Blake Ovard. This is MTD Radio News.
Experience the Mighty Wash Way in Hobbs, where you get superhero service with a smile every time. From their powerful wash packages to unlimited monthly memberships, they've got your ride covered. Visit them at 1020 Joe Harvey Boulevard or 530 West Bender Boulevard to see why Mighty Wash is the top choice for a cleaner, shinier car. Fast, friendly, and always professional. Mighty Wash. Clean never looked so good.
Pull! Shooters, get ready. The 4th annual Freedom Clays Fun Shoot, hosted by H.F. Sinclair, is set for Friday and Saturday, July 11th and 12th at the Eddy County Shooting Range, benefiting the Artesia FFA. The Clay Shoot kicks off with Friday night lights, gun boards, and dinner. Saturday's main event starts at 8 a.m. with 1 in 4 participants winning a prize. Gun board and lunch included. For registration and questions, call Robert at 365-5930 or the Artesia Chamber, sponsored by H.F. Sinclair. Registration deadline is July 1st.
Pecos Valley Rides Amusements Carnival is back at the Eddy County Fair, July 22nd through 26th. Over 30 rides like the Orbiter, the Himalaya, the Vertigo 90-foot tower, and Zero Gravity. For the kids, Jumbo, the Flying Elephants, the Carousel, the wet boats in real water, live pony rides, and more. Enjoy the cotton candy, funnel cakes, lemonade, and handmade pizza. Get a wristband and ride all you want all day for just $40. Ad paid for by Eddy County and Artesia Lodgers Tax.
Apache Spirit Club members 55 and better, get ready to sweep up some serious cash this summer. Join us at Inn of the Mountain Gods for the $7,500 cash sweepstakes. Wednesdays in July. You could be one of 5 lucky players to win our sweepstakes drawings of up to $300 cash. High fives for 55, $7,500 cash sweepstakes. Only at Inn of the Mountain Gods. Must be 21 or older. Visit innofthemountaingods.com or see Apache Spirit Club booth for details.
Everyone is a kid at Cliffs.
I'm a Cliffs kid. My mom was a Cliffs kid. My dad was a Cliffs kid.
My brother and sister are Cliffs kids.
Even my grandma was a Cliffs kid.
Be a kid.
Get your tickets at cliffsamusementpark.com.
Over 30 rides and attractions makes Cliffs a blast for everyone. You never have to choose at Cliffs. You get it all.
Get your tickets at cliffsamusementpark.com.
Be one with fun.
I like to listen to it butt-ass naked while I'm in the shower washing my body.
Be in the Breakfast Club, powered by Permian Ford and PermianFord.com. Home of the lifetime Permian powertrain promise. B once said, "I prefer not to think before speaking. I like being as surprised as everyone else by what comes out of my mouth."
Attention, everybody! Please shut up!
Since 1987, Be in the Breakfast Club. It's been making liberals mad. Now let's get back to that worthy objective.
Come give your mama a kiss.
This is not headline news. Ozzy Osbourne's final concert raised nearly $200 million for charities. One of the charities, the Sharon Osbourne Facelift Fund. Max is officially HBO Max again. And Showtime is officially that thing nobody signs up for. Kevin Jonas lost almost all his money after the Jonas Brothers split. But he's doing much better now since he doesn't get taxed on tips. And Mattel unveiled a Barbie with diabetes. Also in the works, Lyme disease Barbie, measles Barbie, and mesothelioma Barbie.
Right.
This is not headline news.
He's not wrong.
No.
Not wrong at all. By the way, sorry for blowing out your speakers just a second ago. For those that are just tuning in, we are flying by the seat of our pants this morning on a different computer and just rotating everything in, but getting it done. So God bless America on that we are able to continue to get it done. Team effort, engineer Robin there, even talking to Will Rooney, who was at Tucson today. But, yeah, so got it done. According to a brand new study, San Miguel, Mexico is the best city to travel to in 2025, and the people surveyed were cocaine traffickers. They were like, it's a great place. Mexico is a ton of fun this time of the year. Just watch out for the tap water and the spewing hot liquid from active volcanoes and cartel members. So if you avoid all that, you're going to have a great time. New study finds that the health of U.S. kids is on the decline since 2007. For those that need a study to understand that kids we're at the scaling down approach of children being healthy anymore, eating your vegetables. Michelle Obama tried. Right. She tried. Remember that, the whole lunch things. But you can't force kids to to change their eating habits to nothing but kale, because they're going to revert back and go to complete opposite.
Well, and you can't encourage kids to eat vegetables and then give their parents buttloads of snaps so they can go and buy them all the junk food they want.
Yeah.
Did you see those TikToks?
Sodas and...
About all the people that are going on junk food hauls with their EBT cards?
Oh, it's, I see the ladies that I'm just like, is this for real on TikTok where they're going, why would I work? I get $1,200 in food stamps. I get free housing. I get, me and my husband both are on Medicaid and, our kids and, why would we work? Weight Watchers has survived and emerged from Chapter 11 bankruptcy after completing the financial reorganization. They have now named a brand new medical chief and plan to offer menopause therapy. Weight Watchers offering menopause therapy.
That's strange.
And a woman in Spain, her name is Maria Jose Fluster, has gone into the record books, spending the last 50 years of her life collecting egg cups. By the way, she now has 15,485 egg cups.
Okay.
And so at least she's in the Guinness World Book of Records. I mean, that's all she's got at this point, but she's at least got that. Migrants are suing Donald Trump and the U.S. Temporary protection status, by the way. What does temporary mean? Can I get a clarification
Only for
here?
a while.
Temporary means temporary.
Yeah, temporary. Temporary, damn it. But they're suing President Donald Trump and the Department of Homeland Security for halting their, deportations back to their countries and claiming that Kristi Noem is a racist. Because when nothing else works, when you have no defense, Kristi Noem's a racist. Donald Trump's a racist. Even Hispanics that work for ICE, they are racist too. Okay? Violent thug detained at Alligator Alcatraz is now crying and whining about the conditions. Yeah, so this guy got detained at Alligator Alcatraz and, is sobbing about the conditions. No air condition, and the food that they're giving me it reminds me of back home, and there's so many mosquitoes that it would kill a elephant. At any point in time, you can always self-deport. By the way, that is the goal, that you self-deport. But this individual is a self-described Cuban urban artist, and but he has gotten himself in trouble multiple times. He's a tough guy, but now he's crying over mosquitoes. What can you do for mosquitoes?
Spray some off spray.
Yeah, I don't like off because it's got so many chemicals.
Yeah, it's got a lot of
I mean, that skin's so soft.
So there are a lot of plants that can do it.
Garlic.
Citronella.
Basil.
Yes.
Basil is very good.
More basil is good.
So you can rub some basil on you.
Okay.
And yeah.
I think like lemon balm, I think, is one of them.
But
maybe lavender. I don't remember.
I think what's that called? The lemon
lemon balm.
It's a plant that grows, and the skeeters don't like it.
I think it's lemon balm.
Yeah. They don't care for
There's
it.
several. I mean, they're way more than you think.
But
like if you go type in plants repel mosquitoes, you'll come up with
that off has so many chemicals. It's not really good for kids.
I mean, you can smell it.
And DEET is probably in the near future is going to be like DD-214.
Yeah.
I mean that's a military thing.
Yeah.
It's the what was that?
And wasn't it the same thing as like Agent Orange, DEET?
Well,
it's a derivative.
What was it? D something. What was that chemical that was used to be in everything pesticide, but not anymore?
Yeah, and look, and I would love to get some some weed-eating material that I could spray and it kills everything. But those forever chemicals last forever.
Yeah.
That's why they're called forever chemicals.
DDT.
DDT.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I bet you DEET will be in that same group, and they will take it out.
Yeah. Sure. President Trump on Wednesday announced new rounds of tariffs for 6 additional trading partners beginning August 1st. U.S. imposing a 30% tariff on Algeria, Libya, Iraq, 25% trading rate on Brunei and Moldavia, and 20% on the Philippines. Trump revealed on Truth Social. He also announced that the president's Monday announcement, Japan and Korea will face 25% levy. And so, look, are tariffs working? That's a question I think a lot of people want to know. Do tariffs work? Are they hindering our ability to grow this economy?
No.
Here's what Secretary Bassett had to say yesterday about how much money has been raised on tariffs, and the number is astounding.
Dollars in tariff income thus far this year.
Let me start that over because I'm here we go.
Taking in about $100 billion in tariff income thus far this year, and that's with the tariff, the major tariff not having started till the second quarter. So we could expect that could be well over $300 billion by the end of the year. We don't agree with CBO scoring, but for those who do, the CBO scored tariff income over the next 10 years at $2.8 trillion, which we think is probably low.
So what's the national debt?
36 trillion, 35
36 trillion. We've already made 100 billion, and they say 10 trillion over the next 10 years.
If it works.
So it seems to be working.
Will it be applied to our debt, though?
Well, that is the bigger question. Is it going to be, is it going to pay down the debt?
Sure.
Well, and that's kind of the whole big thing. I mean, Doge found all this stuff, and why isn't that going against the debt?
It should. Yeah, Doge said.
Why did nothing really change?
Doge should go directly towards the debt. All right, Jessica from the 5 talking about ICE, talking about what's going on with deportations. Here's what she had
They need to cooperate with ICE to hand over people who have been convicted of something. I'm not talking about crossing the border as something that is convictable. I'm saying that if you commit a crime once you are on U.S. soil, you should be turned over to ICE. And I think that's an easy exchange. And that's what people voted for in November. And you would have a much stronger case against the overreach that we're seeing in terms of what ICE is doing now that is not commensurate with what the American public wants. They didn't vote for people to show up at Home Depots. They didn't vote for people to show up at immigration courts. They didn't vote for the fact that there's new data out from Cato that 65% of the people that ICE has taken into custody have had no convictions.
By the way, when you enter the country illegally, that is a federal offense.
Yep.
That is a federal offense. And Donald Trump ran on mass deportations. He did say we'll start with the the worst of the worst, but he ran on mass deportations. So I think she is 100% wrong. And when you're a guest of a country, and I have lived in another country, and I have an understanding when you break the law, and that means anything from a DUI to, molesting a child,
right,
or murder, or whatever the case. It's a big difference between those two. But the understanding is when you break the law, and you're a guest of the country, you are going to be sent back where you came from.
Should be.
And so, you're going home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blake, your friend Jasmine Crockett had this to say, and she kind of mocks the whole idea of fentanyl.
A lot of my bills around fentanyl. I've done that with a number of, Republicans that have been like,
she's done fentanyl.
Oh, no, like the border crisis, it's all the fentanyl and da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
So where's the fentanyl coming from? I mean,
so shouldn't we do like Democrats and take her look? I've done that with a lot of Republicans talking about fentanyl.
I mean, she's kind of mocking the whole idea that that 90% of the fentanyl is coming from one place.
Well, again, a lot of these people on the left, and I'm starting to wonder about our texters. There's two of them that I think might actually be the same person because they come up with almost exact ideas at the same time. But they have a narrative and they have a playbook coming from wherever it is that they're, that they get their ideas. Now, I don't know where Jasmine falls on the hierarchy, but it's not at the top, right? Because she didn't get the committee assignments or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at Jasmine Crockett's bills that she has introduced. I'm just going to scan to authorize and grant eligible entries to entities to pay for travel-related expense and logistical support for individuals that are accessing abortion clinics. So if you're having to travel to abortion clinic,
she wants the government to pay for it.
Yeah, you should be paid. So that's one bill. To protect the human rights and enhanced opportunities for LGBTQ people around the world. Around the world. That's bill number 2.
Yeah, see, they don't believe that America has borders.
So bill number 3, LGBTQ plus and Panic Defense Probation Act of 2025 was introduced. That's bill number 3. Number 4, to amend the IRS Code of 1986 to clarify that all provisions shall apply legally to married couples even though they're same sex. So, I mean, to expand, bill number 5, to expand health insurance coverage to migrants, to illegal migrants and their families, and remove any legal or illegal barriers. So I'm just looking at what bills to ensure the rights of reproductive rights of women, Freedom Act, Birth Control Act, the Marshall Major Taylor Congressional Gold Medal Act. I'm looking at all of these, and not many of them passed. Not many of them she introduced them. They did not get out of committee. I'm down to bill number 15. And she introduced them. They haven't got out of committee. So,
well, because a lot of them sound dumb.
She introduces. I'm down to 30 now, and not one of them got past the House. Wait. I'm down to 40 now. Not one of them passed the House. Wait. Hold up. I'm at number 50, and not one of them passed the House. So she is the Gabe Vasquez of Texas. You introduce a bunch of bills, but none of them get out of committee. I'm at 70. I'm at 75. Can I hear 80, 85, 90? Can I get 100? And none of them get out of committee. So she introduces a buttload of bills, but they go nowhere.
I wonder if they introduce these bills knowing dang well that they're not going anywhere, but it just makes them look like they're doing something.
It's because when they run, they can say, look, I introduced this to try to do
this. It's 100% right. You heard Gabe Vasquez on this show. Mm-hmm. Look, I introduced legislation, but did it pass? Did it get out of committee? Or did everybody go, this guy is a loon?
Right.
And it's always some kind of weird special interest group that they're trying to
appease. So it looks like LGBTQ stuff and illegal stuff is at the forefront of what Jasmine Crockett believes. That's who she's fighting for. She's not fighting for.
Well, maybe she is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's really close to her.
Yeah, that's at the heart.
Maybe she identifies as part of that
That's at the
community.
heart of the problem. All right, we're going to get to taking out trash. Already 20 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Morning show this morning being brought to you by Twin Wells Fuel Station. Running low on fuel. You're on 128 between Jowl and Carlsbad. Exit on Buck Jackson Road. Go down less than 3 miles, and you will see them. Open to the public, Twin Wells Fuel Station, covered area, a large facility. They sell unleaded, green diesel, red diesel, DEF value, and they are open to the public. They accept credit cards, fleet cards, debit cards. Check them out today. Twin Wells Fuel Station, right off of 128, reminding you, be safe on the road. Chuck Schumer lays the groundwork for the government shutdown. Another guy that it's time for him to go. Time for Chuck Schumer to go. Yeah, but Schumer is signaling that he could plunge the country into a government shutdown if the Republicans move forward towards a reconciliation with just a fraction of a percent of government spending. So the Senate is expected to vote on a request from the White House to claw back $1.1 billion in public broadcasting and $8.3 billion in foreign aid next week. And Chuck Schumer is very upset. He says he will shut the government down if we're not taking care of foreigners.
Good luck. It's a simple majority vote.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No, I'm saying that if they go forward with that, that's a simple majority.
Yeah.
All you got to do is have the Republican lawmakers.
Yeah, and he's got it. Looks like President Trump yesterday told the West African leader to cut to the chase. He's like, let's go. Let's get to it. Let's, can we go a little bit quicker? So he had he met with the African leaders yesterday at the White House to discuss the economic investment and focusing on expanding U.S. interest in Africa. Now, look, we do have to step some of this up. And I get it. I'm for taking care of America, but we can't let China get in these areas and take over.
No.
And the same thing, Central and South America, we can't let that happen.
Right.
They're already in the Caribbean.
Well,
that's very close to us.
Yes. And they've made a lot of inroads in Central and South America as well. Look at the Panama Canal.
Look at Mexico.
Yeah.
Look at Mexico. They have been in big talks with China, with the Chi-Cons. Former health spa owner. They're not calling it massage parlors anymore, okay? It's health spa owner facing additional charges.
Spa.
It's a health spa.
It's not a health spa, just like Planned Parenthood is not women's health care.
But so an update on that case, Four Corners area. Former health spa owner charged with promoting prostitution back on the radar. Fu Shupling is no stranger to the police in Farmington. When we first told you about this lady last year, she was accused of making her employees perform sexual acts behind closed doors. We've been pursuing a number of leads in the case, according to the chief of the Farmington Police Department, Steve Hebe. And eventually we plan to pursue charges of human trafficking, kidnapping, and other felony charges. Looks like Fu has been arrested and released with conditions. Fast forward to last week when police issued a warrant for Fu's arrest on organized crime. And so she's been charged with a host of things dealing with prostitution, health spa owner.
Wow.
Doesn't give the name of the place. I'm looking.
Not a health spa.
It was called the Pony Therapeutic Spa. Pony. Yes. And from what I guess, it's not a mayor. NASA sending specialized aircraft and technology.
Okay, so that one I did understand.
NASA sending specialized aircraft and technology to aid with the Texas flood and recovery as bodies are still not been recovered. But NASA dispatching 2 aircraft that will help with that. There's still 200 people missing in Texas. And NASA is sending in the high-altitude WB-57 aircraft that took off from Joint Reserve Base in Houston on Tuesday, Ellington Field, and to conduct aerial surveys. And they will use the what they call the dynamite, the day-night airborne motion imager of terrestrial environments. That is a sensor that takes high-resolution photos. And so they will do that over the Guadalupe River and several miles in the surrounding area to help with the aid efforts. And a shark bite. Shark bit a fisherman. And the big shark. Now, this happened in Nantucket. Now, I'm just going to ask the question.
It's the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
Yeah, that's cool. Where was that take place?
Technically, that was that area.
Yeah, Nantucket. So the fisherman is a wealthy beach vacationer in Nantucket. I once knew a man from Nantucket. Yeah. Anyway, the 21-year-old man caught a common sandbar shark on Sunday, reeled to the shore. And according to Nantucket Current, when he attempted to return the shark to the ocean, it bit him on the leg and caused
that's his own fault.
Serious injury. Wow. I'm a Cajun. I would already had that thing fried up, battered, and fried up.
Look, it's not like it swam up and attacked him. You know, the shark probably felt threatened. And if you're a shark, you eat things.
Yeah, sure. That's their job.
Don't put your leg where his mouth can get you.
Yeah.
He was obviously in control of it.
That movie Shark Tale will forever mark me. I feel like all sharks think in that it does.
Well, I mean, look, shark, bears. I mean, I'm not taking pictures with bears. Yeah. But did you see they did capture a bear in Los Lunas?
Again. Let natural selection take its course.
Yeah.
Hey, did you talk about the man who pulled over to help the bear and was mauled? Did you hear that story?
Yeah, no, there we go again. That's
correct.
His fault.
Common sense. Like, okay, the bear is hurt. I get it. I feel
what you
for the
do
bear.
At that point,
hell no.
you call
yes.
animal control
yes.
wildlife officials
and let them so they can trank it and get it done.
Get it over whatever the bridge it needed to.
But bears have 6-inch claws.
Yeah.
You're not going to survive that encounter.
No. Black bear was captured in Los Lunas yesterday morning.
Okay.
And bear spotted in the area right off of Highway 314. And the bear safely captured by Game and Fish.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you do. You call Game and Fish.
And I think you're going to have more encounters because the bear population is increasing and moving to parts of the country they haven't necessarily been in before.
Well, with fires and floods and that type of stuff,
they've been forced to move out.
But there's a lot of people that don't realize that, like, where you're from in Louisiana,
we got bears.
There's bears.
Yeah, we got bears.
They think, oh no, we're down. No, there's bears.
In fact,
all the East
I'm just going to say,
everywhere.
if you're driving into my hometown, when you cross the bridge from Berwick to Morgan City, right before you get to that point, there is a bear warning sign because evidently there's a bunch of bears.
But again, we got to have signs because stupid people. Sure. Oh, look, the pretty bear.
And by the way, don't feed the alligators either.
You know what? Let them go swimming with them.
Trump immigration crackdown prompts California bishop to excuse Catholics from going to Sunday Mass. Those that are scared that they might be deported, you do not have to go to Mass on Sunday. The Southern California bishop issued a rare decree on Tuesday excusing churchgoers from attending Sunday Mass if they fear immigration raids and detentions.
I have a question since you're our resident Catholic. Is that really a thing? Like, if you miss church, do they hold that against you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're just not supposed to miss Mass.
So the Catholic Church has dispensations for everything. But why?
Hold on. Let me rewind.
Yeah. So if you miss going to Mass,
who knows?
That week,
well, I mean, nobody.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just taught you go to Mass on Sunday.
Okay, but you have to have a special thing from the priest to not be able to go?
I mean, this is more pomp and circumstance and
political
showing
grandstanding.
Yeah, political grandstanding from the San Bernardino Bishop Albert Rojas. That's all this is. So if people are scared, I'm going to give them permission to miss Mass. By the way, so and you know what?
What would Jesus do?
There are multiple ways to, there are plenty of times that we might miss Mass, and my wife watches Mass on TV or whatever. I mean, look.
Could they watch Jimmy Swaggart reruns instead?
They could, I guess. But
that's what I'd rather watch.
But anyway, she doesn't miss Mass, but there are people that are scared. They're scared.
Well, a lot of
And
times.
I invite any listener right now to let me know that they're scared.
Right.
Monica, you've been scared?
No.
You're not scared.
No.
You were stopped by police today, but you're not scared.
I am never.
But a lot of my question about the dispensational mass too is, I've done some different things around churches and was observing and things of that nature. And at some of the big places, you'll see like the whole family come in. Mass started 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
They come in, they sit down for 10 minutes, and they get up and they leave. And I guess they count that?
No, I wouldn't think so. But
it seemed like a revolving door.
Tardiness is crazy.
Uh-huh.
No matter what. I see that at church.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, when I go to church in Hobbs, I see that all the time.
Wow.
But my wife is Filipino, so if you tell her we're going somewhere at 10, I always tell her we're leaving at 9 because Filipino time is whenever the hell we feel like it. Case in point, Mother's Day, we make reservations at 11.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm good to go. Everybody else, 11:30. The wife said,
"You missed your reservation."
She's like, "It's okay. They'll hold the table." I said, "I wouldn't."
Oh, now my question is the Catholic Church condoning illegal immigrants?
Well, the Catholic Church has been condoning illegal immigration for a long, long time. Look at Catholic Charities funding all these facilities to hold people, and that is the reason why I stopped giving to the Catholic Church 20 years ago. Because of Catholic Church. And you know what I do with my money? I tied my money to other people. I like to tie my money to individuals that I see. That way I know where my money is going.
Amen.
That's just me.
That's you.
That's just
how
me.
You choose to give.
Yeah. All right, Boob of the Day coming up next. Morning show being brought to you by Fens and Artesia. Big savings going on at Fens. Chicken tenders, $2.49 a pound. Get the sirloin cut pork chops, $1.49 a pound. Top sirloin steak, $7.99 a pound. Bacon, Food Club bacon. Get it, 12-ounce pack for $3.99. Also from the produce department, get red ripe tomatoes, 99 cents a pound. Squash, 99 cents a pound. Avocados, 2 for $3. And get the Rainier cherries for $3.99. Produce department, they've got a lot of big savings. Check them out today. And the deli department, start off with the split top wheat bread for $1.58. Then move on to the deli department. They've got the turkey, honey smoked or mesquite smoked, $7.99 a pound. Ham, honey or smoked ham, get it for $4.99 a pound. And if you're looking for all the refreshments, they've got you covered with Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Big Red, $9.99 for a 24-pack. Check it out today at Fens, where they always have the coldest beer in town. Supreme Court clarifying the attorney fee cap for workers' comp cases. So workers' comp.
New Mexico Supreme Court.
Yeah, New Mexico Supreme Court. So the judge awarded him $45,000 at attorney's fees, $22,500 for the fall, and $22,500 for the allergic reaction. But the Supreme Court ruled that it was one single injury and capped the attorney's fees at $22,500. Now, I will say this much. This is why it's very difficult to find competent workers' comp insurances attorneys.
Sure.
Because they're not making the dollars. They're not making the money that a personal injury attorney is making. We did talk about Donald Trump threatening to bomb Moscow. He wasn't in office, so it's New York man charged with threatening ICE officials. He was arrested yesterday, and ICE said Wednesday in a news release that Matthew White of Jamestown, New York, about 70 miles from Buffalo, posted a string of threatening, very threatening stuff on social media. That he would like to kill all of them. ICE is the new Gestapo. But you know what? All of this starts with our legislatures. All of them said that's where it starts. But this guy has been arrested, and it looks like he is going to jail. Deion Sanders has been sick. Yesterday, Big 12 media days, he was asked the question. He declined to comment on health issues. So that means if he has a bad year this year, health issues.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that would happen? He would use the health issues as maybe not. Catherine, Secretary Leavitt, Press Secretary Leavitt talked about the radicals that we have in the United States, and most of those radicals are on the left. Here's what she had to say.
Jesse, I can't believe I heard stupid Stacey Abrams say that deportations kill democracy. Newsflash, Stacey, wide open borders kills democracy, and that's what the American people voted against. The American public witnessed an open border, illegal alien invasion for 4 years, and they said enough is enough. The vast majority of this country supports deporting illegal criminals from our communities. This administration is all hands on deck in doing that, despite pushback from these radical Democrats at the state and local level. ICE and Border Patrol are doing the work that they swore an oath to do, to remove public safety threats from our communities, to protect our nation, our homeland, and our citizens.
Amen. Amen. And a new bill that was just introduced by, is it Juan or Alex Padilla? I'm confused. Anyway,
it's one of them.
Anyway, he is posing a bill that ICE would not be able to cover up their face, and they would have to wear a placard with their name on it. You know, the whole idea of police on their vests is not enough to let people know that that's actually a police officer. All right, things that happened on this date in history. We'll check in on the text. National anthem and the pledge. More coming up in just a second. Boob of the day being brought to you by Take It Out Trash, TrashEaters.com. Check them out today. And, of course, they have residential trash pickup. They also do the roll-off containers. They can take care of commercial waste. They can take care of all of that and a whole bunch more. Call Kayleen this morning, 575-408-1719, trash-eaters.com. And as I noticed that I've already done my boob of the day, I mean my taking out the trash. So I'm going to move off with another taking out the trash. Massive haul of methamphetamine seized in Minnesota. One of the big meth buses right under the nose of Tim AWOLs.
Oh, wow.
The 900 pounds of methamphetamine taken off the street. 2 men arrested. They say the street value is worth $1.7 million. You would think 900 pounds of meth would be more than $1.7 million, but I don't know anything about the meth game. But 900 pounds of meth. Dan Bongino, Deputy FBI Director, said, we are finding these individuals, we're crushing the operations, and we're sending a notice back to the cartels in Mexico. So they arrested 2 foreigners in the country, one by the name of Joel Santiago, 46 years old, and Gilberto Chaparrado was arrested, 44 years old, were arrested. And I don't know if you're surprised by this. Both were not in the country legally.
Not a surprise.
Yeah, you're not surprised?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Wow, I thought you'd be surprised. I thought I would put that right past you.
No.
All right, national anthem and the pledge on the way. Monica and text, our number 877-396-W105, KWMW, Malchamora, 105.1 FM, KDAZ, AM 700, FM 96.9 in Albuquerque. And in Rio Doso, we're at KWES 93.5.
Well, your statement that the Catholic Church is supporting illegals is true. There are other churches that do it also.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is unfortunate. Do they oppose other countries who enforce their borders? And all of those Catholic paranoid people, they're too scared to go to church on Sunday. The real truth is they're only going after illegal aliens. So if you're a United States citizen, you have nothing to worry about. God bless you all. And thank you for listening to
Are
all
we
those
deporting
lying
legal
news
citizens? I mean, Monica was stopped this morning. They had every right to deport her and take her to Alligator Alcatraz.
Listen, all they have to do is hear me talk.
I'm going to be honest with you. You put me on Alligator Alcatraz, I would be killing alligators and frying them up.
Good eating right there.
I mean, I'll make me alligator gumbo.
Alligator etouffee.
How would you kill it?
Me?
Yeah.
They use a 22. Just
Yeah, pop it in the head.
If you had to kill it,
if
you had to kill it like
there's a
with
little
your...
spot that's soft on top
Yeah,
of your head.
you could just.
Isn't there like a soft spot right here that if you hit?
No, you right here, right on the top of the head. So, and then you just scan it.
You can watch Swamp People and watch them do it.
Well, you know Troy from Swamp People?
Yeah.
I used to work at a club in Belle River, Louisiana. I had like 8 jobs because I was poor. But Troy was one of my regulars. I DJ'd.
All right.
Oh, wow.
And he was one of my regulars. And good guy. Now he is a millionaire. You ought to see the house that he built from Swamp People.
I believe it.
Smokey says, Blake, you missed the point. They didn't say what kind of health spa. It's for sexual health, LOL.
That is very healthy.
Matt Dog said, I'm scared, Monica. You shouldn't be, Matt Dog. John and Pio says, you guys are awesome. So are you, John. Thanks for tuning in. I heard y'all mention about videos on TikTok that people are addressing why work when they can give you assistance and etc. I was thinking, you know how people post videos about something being racist and it goes viral, then we hear that person was fired from their employer. Same thing should apply to those people posting videos, bragging about not wanting to work and getting free money. Buying junk food, they should get automatically disqualified from their assistance program.
You're not going to tell me how my kids should eat.
And this texter said, I want LASIK surgery. Can we get a bill for the government to pay for the procedure and travel?
You know, I'm having some problems with my eyes. I think I need cataract surgery. I think we get the government to pay for that.
Fair.
B from Roswell said, yes, it is DDT. Banned here in the U.S., but not in Mexico, right? Beware of produce coming from there.
There you go.
And
Remember, Kevin, you'll remember this. Monica, you're too young. There was an ad campaign out for that beforehand. You can go watch it because I've seen it in the past. DDT is good for me was their slogan to spray it on the food.
I mean, we can come up with radio jingles and slogans all
but
day.
That was what they did to try to sell it.
Yeah.
Lemongrass will keep the mosquitoes away.
Yeah, lemongrass is what I was trying. I couldn't think of the damn name.
2,4-D. The chemical you're looking for is DDT, said Gary from the patch. This texter said, haha, DD214 is discharge papers, Blake.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Big Jar Fax says DDT. EBT cards are for food, not for candy, energy drinks.
Well, you would think.
Listen, they gave the girls some Sunbucks this summer. As a matter of fact, it was like right after school let out. I went and stocked our fridge up with meat.
Oh, meat. I mean, meat. Yeah. I mean, that is
the chicken.
Yeah, that should be what's spent. All right.
You want more?
Elaine is calling in right now, and we're late.
Okay, go ahead.
So let's talk to her real quick, and before we do our national anthem and our pledge. Elaine, how are you doing?
Well, good morning, everyone. How are you guys?
Good morning.
We're going to be all right. I'm going to go to you before we do our national anthem and our pledge, but you've got great news for us this morning.
I do. And just for the people that are listening, this is Representative Elaine Sena Cortez. I represent District 62. That's Sanger Street and Hobbs to the forefront of Lovington. And my great news is that I hosted the Speaker of the House of Representatives in Hobbs the day before yesterday. And the reason I did that was so that he could witness our community and industry that keeps New Mexico alive. And my big announcement is that the Speaker and I are co-sponsoring a bill to bring the gross receipt tax revenue back to Lee County. In 2019, HB 6 was passed, and I don't think all the legislators were aware of the unintended consequences, but what it did is it took oil and gas gross receipt taxes and sent it to Santa Fe, which meant Hobbs lost up to $15 to $20 million a year annually.
And Carlsbad and anywhere else that had oil and gas.
Oh, yeah. And so the bill that we're co-sponsoring, of course, is going to help Lee County, but it's going to help all 33 counties in New Mexico. And so while the Speaker and I don't agree on most things, we do agree that that all of our communities in New Mexico should have the power.
Fox News.
Hold on. All right, continue.
Oh, I thought that was the music to
No,
build up.
no,
to
that
good
was me.
news. I'm like, yeah, keep adding.
We're
that.
we're
That
barely
sounds great.
we're barely on the air today, and I'm messing up.
No, you're doing a great job. But him and I, while we disagree on a lot of things, him and I both agree that our communities should have the power to invest in themselves. And so I'm excited to work across the aisle and to maintain my conservative values, but to be in this position to fight for our community and to do it with the Speaker of the House is a great honor.
Yeah.
So that means that it's going to have more of a chance of passing, right?
Exactly. And whenever I passed my bill this past session as a rookie, I co-sponsored it with a Democrat, which was Representative Sanchez. And right now, being in the minority, if you want to get things done, you got to learn to work with the other side. And that's exactly what I'm doing.
That is, that's great news.
Thank you. It's easy in Santa Fe to just say, no, I'm not doing that, or I'm not working with them. But it is harder to roll up your sleeves and stand your ground and get something done for the people who sent you there. And I want you to know that's exactly what I'm committed to doing, especially when it comes to making sure that your tax dollars come back home.
Well, and I mean, our area, the state in southeast New Mexico, is not we're already on the short end of not getting, a return on the money that we send to Santa Fe. So getting a little bit more money is, that encompasses counties, cities, all the municipalities. So that's great news.
That's exactly it. And I've told people, hey, the majority of the people in this area, there's two types. You're either in oil and gas or you're married to someone in oil and gas.
Amen.
And those oil and gas gross receipt taxes should be coming back to our place. This area is rare. We're the number one oil producing county in the nation. And it's one of the few places in New Mexico that you can stand on a can of tuna and watch your dog run away for 2 days straight. It's different,
Amen. Amen.
It's flat, but it's different. We're rare, and man, am I glad to fight and represent oil country.
Amen. Hey, we appreciate you checking in, and that's awesome news. Thanks for the work that you're doing.
Thank you, my friends. I'll let you get to your agenda, but thanks for getting me in. I appreciate you and all the work you do for us.
Not a problem. All right, we're going to do the boob when we come back, but we got one issue. What?
This day in history.
Things that happen on this day. We'll do that when we come back, but we've got one issue.
You missed the first part of the Fox News alert.
Well, that's one issue. But our hotkeys are not working, so our national anthem and a pledge. So we need to go fetch those.
Okay.
And so let me go fetch, and I'll drag them in, and I'll let you put them where they go. So, but yeah, didn't think about that one. Didn't think about the pledge and the national anthem. So I will do that on the fly.
On the other side of the break.
You want to do it on the other side of the break? Yeah, let's do it on the other side of the break.
Yeah, because I've got that break paused.
All right, let's do it on the other side of the break. Whoo, man.
So what happens when the computers are all messed up and trying to do
you guys are doing a great job.
We're on the air.
Yeah.
We're here.
That's all. The show must go on.
We could have Monica sing the national anthem.
I can just recite it and sing maybe
I
a couple
tried
of notes.
that before with another host, and they messed up the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, we can do the pledge. I was talking. She could sing the national anthem.
So, well, let's we'll come back at the bottom, and we'll do things that happen on this date in history. We'll play catch up. Let me
go find it.
All right, news this morning being brought to you by Luke Ragsdale Law Firm. Reminding you when accidents happen, it's usually when you least expect them. Trusted law firm is there to help you. That's the Ragsdale Law Firm. Call Luke Ragsdale today. They specialize in car accidents, personal injury, medical malpractice, auto accidents. Based in Roswell, they are there every step of the way. Free consultations. And don't forget, you never pay until you win your case. That's very important. Call Luke Ragsdale, 575-208-5300. RagsdaleLawFirm.com. We're coming right back. We are B and the Breakfast Club. We're going to be right back.
that high tariff rate to the trial of the country's former leader, Jair Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro is accused of attempting a coup following his election loss in 2022 and has been barred from running for office until 2030.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. 6 Secret Service agents were suspended for failures connected to last year's assassination attempt on then presidential candidate Donald Trump.
They were not fired. The deputy director defended the agency's decision not to sack anyone. Quote, "We aren't going to fire our way out of this. We're going to focus on the root cause and fix the deficiencies that put us in that situation."
That's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Sunday marks the 1-year anniversary of the shooting. America's listening to Fox News.
Shooters, get ready. The 4th annual Freedom Place Fun Shoot, hosted by H.F. Sinclair, is set for Friday and Saturday, July 11th and 12th at the Eddy County Shooting Range, benefiting the Artesia FFA. The Clay Shoot kicks off with Friday night lights, gun boards, and dinner. Saturday's main event starts at 8 a.m. with 1 in 4 participants winning a prize. Gun board and lunch included. For registration and questions, call Robert at 365-5930 or the Artesia Chamber, sponsored by H.F. Sinclair. Registration deadline is July 1st.
Hey. You, bro, look at me. Don't look at the stereo, look at me. Did you know we got some crazy deals over here at Permian Ford? I'm serious. Right now, Super Duty's 2024 models are getting blown out, and you're just sitting there. Take off, jump in the ride, do what you got to do. Permian Ford Lincoln, Hobbs America, corner of Del Paso and Sanger, up to $10,000 off the select Super Duties that we have left. We got them coming in from different cities. They couldn't get rid of them, folks, and we're going to do it for them. Right here at Permian Ford Lincoln.
Pecos Valley Rides Amusements Carnival is back at the Eddy County Fair, July 22nd through 26th. Over 30 rides like the Orbiter, the Himalaya, the Vertigo 90-foot tower, and Zero Gravity. For the kids, Jumbo, the Flying Elephants, the Carousel, the wet boats in real water, live pony rides, and more. Enjoy the cotton candy, funnel cakes, lemonade, and handmade pizza. Get a wristband and ride all you want all day for just $40. Ad paid for by Eddy County and Artesia Lodgers Tax.
At Coffee Drilling LLC, they offer a wide range of drilling services, from small domestic water to agricultural and monitor wells. In addition to mud and rotary drilling, Coffee Drilling offers services to pre-existing wells, as well as troubleshooting of pumps and all control systems. Call Coffee Drilling today to schedule your routine maintenance or see about an upgrade to your water system. Call 505-270-1767. That's 505-270-1767. Coffee Drilling LLC, over 20 years experience and serving all of Hobbs, Lovington, and Eunice.
Southeast New Mexico weather.
Good morning. The forecast, Southeast New Mexico, as we go down to 285 on this Thursday. It's temperatures at 100 degrees in Roswell with a 20% chance for a thunderstorm. 98 degrees in Carlsbad, Artesia, partly cloudy sky. 93 degrees in Lovington with a 10% chance for thunderstorms. Lovington temperatures tomorrow in the mid-90s, slight chance for thunderstorms. For W105 FM, I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts.
Your country plays on W105.
Every weekday morning.
When I was 10, I lost my left testicle in a karate accident.
Don't miss the fun.
This show is powered by Permian Ford. Stop by and see Daniel Bellis today. If you're flirting with Tom A., please let him know.
Slow down a little bit. There's a few people in the room that don't understand.
Call or text now, 877-396-W105 to talk to B, Tom, Blake, or Monica.
I feel smarter already.
No, back to B and the Breakfast Club.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
All right, 15 minutes after the hour of 8, we are B and the Breakfast Club. We're playing catch-up this morning as if you're just listening, our computer crashed yesterday. It crashed and burned. Well, I mean, it kind of sizzled, but we're on the air, and that's all that matters. But our national anthem and our pledge this morning, we're kind of out of the, we're not usually doing it, but yeah, we're pretty much on time, though. It's not a big deal. National anthem and the pledge being brought to you by Rebecca Long. Rebecca is your Farmers Insurance agent. She can take care of your commercial insurance, your life insurance, home, auto, recreational insurance. I mean, a lot of people don't think about their RV or, their boats and that type of stuff. You need insurance. Call and talk to Rebecca today and let her bundle all of your policies. She started her business with Farmers Insurance at the age of 19, 40 plus years later, still going strong. She would love to help you. Give her a call, 575-393-2661. Call Rebecca Long today, proud sponsor of the national anthem and the pledge.
Hi, my name is Cooper, and I'm from College Lane Elementary, and I'm going to be singing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Oh, so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular up on spur, singing out, yeah, through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
God bless America. God bless you. 18 after 8, we're being the Breakfast Club. Our scripture of the day being brought to you by Judah Oil, reminding you God is in complete control.
From Philippians 4:11 today, I am not saying this because I'm in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstance.
All right, we're going to get to the boob of the day coming up. We'll get to things that happened on this date in history. Looks like a Florida woman arrested for driving to Mar-a-Lago while insisting on speaking to President Trump, despite having a suspended driver's license. With a suspended driver's license, she might not be able to speak to President Trump. But in this country, she can vote for Donald Trump, even though she doesn't have a driver's license or an ID. Doesn't matter. She can vote. By the way, she sounds pretty unhinged, like a unhinged lunatic, capable of snapping at any moment. I expect her to possibly reach out to Elon Musk because they're on the same boat at this point. Lifeguards in Florida at a beach rescued an unusual struggling swimmer in the Atlantic Ocean. It was a white-tailed deer. Yeah. Beachgoers were yelling, "What the buck?" What the buck? Yeah, white-tailed deer in the water at the beach.
That's odd.
That's not that uncommon.
Yeah, that's not that. Thank God.
How did they get in there then?
They walked.
Yeah, they probably waited out and couldn't make its way in back.
It actually happens anywhere that there's deer near the coast. That happens a lot.
Yeah,
actually.
Alabama, Florida.
Well, I mean, even like key deer, which are small,
Mm-hmm.
there lots of them. And
I just want y'all to know that I'm freezing in here.
And I'm
Sweating?
Okay.
I'm not
Close.
sweating, but it's not cold.
No.
It's not cold. Up in Canada, fans of the group Velvet Sundown were shocked after it was revealed the group doesn't really exist. It was 100% AI created.
Wow.
The whole group was AI.
Just wait. That's what's coming.
And Olivia Dunn, former LSU gymnast, viral session says that she turned down purchasing Babe Ruth's former home, saying that she wanted to buy the building, but she decided that she wasn't going to buy it. She was voted out of. There are other people in that apartment complex. It's an apartment. It's not really,
right.
But they didn't want her in there because she might bring too much attention.
Right. That's what I heard this morning.
Have you seen her?
I heard that she had already set to purchase it, like they were in the works.
Yeah.
And then they found out who she was.
Homeowners Association.
She's like an influencer. That's her title. But she's also an athlete.
Yeah, she
graduated from LSU.
Yeah, she is a star gymnast. She will probably be at the Olympics.
Right, okay.
In Los Angeles.
So why is it a big deal that she can't buy the...
She's not known for being a brat online. She's just known. She puts a lot of stuff out there. And the homeowners association, I guess, let the neighbors know.
Want people coming around.
Well, and she's also engaged to Paul Skeen.
Oh,
the pitcher,
right?
So together they're a power couple. And Jennifer Aniston's latest love interest is Jim Curtis.
What happened to Barack?
Well, something happened, but yeah, Jim Curtis, her latest. He's a hypnotist. So
she says
he can actually hypnotize her, and maybe the relationship will last. This is what I'm thinking. Who knows? Donald Trump named Sean Duffy the interim administrator for NASA. Of course, NASA's leader is gone, so Duffy has already got a job with the transportation secretary, so he will do the interim. Marco Rubio's got 3 different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, some of these jobs are not really full-time jobs. Secretary of State, yeah, that's a full-time gig. But he said, you know what?
Yes.
I am going to do whatever the president needs me to do and the country needs me to do.
Absolutely.
And that's very important.
Wait. But as people are listening out there, if you're hearing us over the air, obviously you're hearing it fine. Our engineer is working on everything back there. If some of the stream drops out, if one of the other streams drops out.
Yeah.
There's not a lot I can do about that.
It's we are flying by the seat of our pants. And just lucky to be on the air this morning. Believe me. If it would be somewhere else, they probably wouldn't even be on the air this morning.
Right.
They would just be.
And if you're listening via one of those other things and you lose us for a little bit, just hang in there.
They're working. They're
we'll
working.
hopefully come back.
The greater goal. Man sentenced for a 2024 murder in Albuquerque. Looks like he murdered another man outside a homeless shelter last year. Will spend the rest of the decade behind bars. February 2024, Jose Garcia leaped out of a wheelchair just outside the Hope Village in southwest Albuquerque and beat Mark Levine. Levine was on life support for 2 weeks before he died. Garcia pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 8.5 years behind bars for killing somebody, for beating him with his hands. Yeah. Bath and Body Works manager. If you're a manager of Bath and Body Works and somebody comes into your store, do you fight them?
No.
Bath and Body. So the former manager.
Maybe if they don't smell good. I don't know.
I mean,
No.
Former store manager of Bath and Body Works chose to fight back after a activist, alphabet activist, collided with her Mormon beliefs and led her to be terminated because she did fight back. So despite the executive orders from President Trump and apologies from the University of Penn for their past politics, allowing men and women, this young lady was fired from her job for fighting back against against the activists. And I'm
kind of siding with her.
Yeah. So she fought back, and now she's without a job. And the U.S.'s teachers union, largest teachers union, is calling for America to resist.
No, they're supporting the communist in New York, who is in return supporting them.
Resistance. So the largest teachers union, about 3 million members of that teachers union, approve multiple business items that poses any action from Donald Trump and to resist the fascist president. And you would think if you're an educator, you know the definition of fascism.
Well, but a lot of them don't know the difference of a man and a woman.
So let me ask you this much. If Donald Trump was a fascist leader, would they be able to resist?
No.
Point taken. Point given.
Well, and if they're resisting anything he does, he should say they need to have raises, they need to get this, they need to get that.
Let me say this much. Teachers union. Your job, what is your job? To teach the kids.
The union is to support the teachers, and the teachers teach the kids.
But
the union is what's wrong with that whole sentence.
And you know what? I am totally surprised that the number of teachers in New Mexico that join the union is way less than the number of teachers in Texas that join the teachers union.
Well, if they do join the union there, you know where they lie politically.
Way less. All right, we're going to get to, we got things that happen on this date in history. Boob of the day coming up. Democrat senator put an all-out anti-white, anti-male job list. So the Democrat from Massachusetts, Ed Markey, on Wednesday posted a job list on X for his Boston office and specifically encouraged VIPOC and LGBTQ plus candidates to apply. What is BIPOC? I have no idea what that is.
Biopic.
So he is encouraging white men not to apply for the job. That just seems against the law. That seems discriminatory. That you're discriminating on sexual agenda and color of skin. And by the way, I know for sure that's against the law. It is a hiring practice that is against the law in America.
It is.
But this is a Democrat senator from Massachusetts, Ed Markey, that posted the job listing. Men need not apply. White men especially. Don't apply. And I have no idea what that BIPOC.
Biopic.
What the hell is that?
Well, isn't it like a film?
But it's a.
Isn't it like a film piece on someone?
Well, yeah, but I mean that's not the way he used it. Encouraging BIPOC and LGBTQ plus to apply.
BIPOC.
Oh wait, that would be BIPOC.
BIP.
I reversed the letters.
BIPOC meaning is Black, Indigenous, and people of color.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
We got to stop with the alphabet.
For real.
I'm like
that's how foolish. I say foolish, but seriously, they have to abbreviate every single thing they do.
Crazy.
Well, because if they didn't, you would know what they're saying.
Yeah, that's nuts. James Carville warning Mawandawi to keep globalized intifada phrase out of his mouth, saying you might be elected if you stop talking about intifada. Of course, intifada, those that don't know what that means. That means, the death of the infidel, and you are the infidel. If you're listening to this show, you are definitely the infidel.
Yep.
So keep that out of your mouth, and maybe you will be arrested. Have you guys seen the video of Mary Lou Retton being arrested?
No.
They released the body cam video.
Bad.
And it's sad because she failed the test and she failed the breathalyzer test, but she was on oxygen at the same time. So she had an oxygen, not the mask, but the one that goes in the nose.
Right.
She had that on at the same time, and they were giving her the breathalyzer test. And
wow.
God bless, this is not her first DUI.
Aww.
She was American sweetheart.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah, she's the one that won the team.
Man, I mean, she was
so
bad.
sad.
All right, we're going to get to things that happened on this date in history coming up. We got to check the text first. Morning show, we're running late. Being brought to you by Pop's Power Washing. 11 years, Eric has never been late. Cleaning your oil field equipment. They do. They can clean up your spills. They can take care of your fleet. Call Eric this morning, and you can rest assured he will not be late. 575-704-0330. He lets being late. He leaves that to us. Okay? We are now the professionals at being late. By the way, Pop's Power Washing, 11 years, never late. Give Eric a call, 575-704-0333. Check him out today. Monica?
All right. So, hey, folks. How is Will? Matt wants
Will is good news. Went to the doc yesterday in Tucson. He is good to go, making his way back to New Mexico today.
Awesome. Unhinged lunatics vote Democrat. FM seems fine. Nasal cannula only for a flow rate oxygen, 2 liters per minute usually. What the heck was that about? Maybe. Hi. What happened to the Lord's Prayer? I don't think this person is aware that we've been.
We have announced multiple times we're rolling on the our automation machine is down. We're doing the best we can with what we got.
And is it true about the Austin fire chief? He didn't want to send in the swift water rescue teams to help in the floods.
Yeah,
I saw that story.
I did hear that. And look, Austin is a completely different world.
ICE needs to clean house at the oil field open this weekend. MAGA, says this texter. Bosque County says, are the problems y'all are having related to the reason Russ went crazy the other day and did what's for supper twice and the barbecue and backwards order?
No, that's not.
Not at all.
That's
yesterday.
just Russ. Schizophrenic.
If those people can't read, ICE posted all over their uniforms in 6-inch letters.
Well, and it also says police.
Badge?
Police.
And they're doing exactly what I voted for, Jessica, says Jeffro.
Amen.
Rick Norris says, yes, we will make money off of the tariffs, just like Americans will get a $4,000 check because of Doge cuts, just like we will see millions from green card sales. These money-making scenes from Trump is really
By
sickening.
the way, I had the announcement how many people signed up for the the Trump Gold Card.
It was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 70,000 people. And
I'm
$1 million.
still against it.
Yeah, I'm still against it, but it was a ridiculous amount of people.
These money-making scenes or schemes from Trump are really sickening.
So making money off of tariffs is a bad deal.
Which lefty doesn't like that?
I don't know. It's Rick Norris.
Oh, really?
It's really sickening. Shut up about it. We aren't seeing a thing. We aren't seeing a thing from the land of $3.45 per gallon for gas. Regular.
Where is gas $3.45?
Oh no, Rick Norris.
I love you, Rick, but where is gas $3.45 a gallon?
In China.
Because I filled up yesterday in Hagerman, New Mexico, and I think it was $2.69.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
$2.69.
China and Russia are turning everyone against America. Americans, get ready, says this texter. Your comment about Lou Retton's oxygen. Okay, Mary Lou Retton's oxygen. Okay, yeah. I gotcha. And B, I watched that video a couple of times. I think she failed the sobriety test and they were trying to get her to take a breath test. But we're saying they could get a subpoena for her blood. I think that's what I saw. Just FYI.
Yeah, her attorney probably, since this is her second DUI, her attorney's like, don't take the breathalyzer.
Really, Pam Bondi? You're lying about Epstein? Zorro Ranch, says a texter. And unless the U.S. roams on a balanced budget, then we are not making any money off of tariffs. Gas is $3.89 in Portales.
Holy
says
cow.
Richard. That's not okay.
What?
Yeah.
Why would gas be $3.89 in Portales?
If the Trump-Epstein thing was a fumble, then it was the Leon Lett fumble, one of the greatest political blunders of all time. For the past 30 years, when I get a new driver's license, I put a big, goofy grin on my face. When I get pulled over, I have the driver's license. I give the driver's license to the officer and try to get that same goofy print on my face. They laugh so hard, they end up just letting me go with a verbal warning. And all of those protesters, this is way back in the 7 o'clock hour, were the kids that rode bikes with helmets, knee pads, elbow pads, and training wheels until they were about 10 to 12 years old. And please wish Jim Spence a big happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jim.
And that is from Carol. Happy birthday. Good morning. Gas in Ruidoso is $3.65.
I would expect that. Yeah, I just looked in Portales, $2.86.
Diesel's $4.09. Thanks, Maddie B. And ICE needs to focus on the illegals that rape and murder. Leave the ones out here working their tails off alone.
So should we not arrest people for breaking the law? I mean, we can't pick and choose or change the law.
Right.
I mean, we can't choose what laws to enforce and what laws not to. So if they broke the law, they broke the law.
Gas is around $3.45 in Eunice. No way. At the
that's probably true.
And Love's off of Highway 18.
Look, smaller the town, the more the gas is.
And there are several towns you always know gas is higher.
Yeah, but I'm looking at Portales.
Like when you're on your way to Lubbock from here, if you go like through Plains, you know that it's more there than it is before you get to Brownfield.
I'm looking at Portales on Gas Buddy, 285, 286, 286. Some of them don't partake in the. All right, we got a guest coming in, so we got to get to. We're already running late. Things that happen on this date in history being brought to you by 2A Tactical Firearms Indoor Firing Range. Find them 236 East Navajo and Hobbs, veteran-owned and operated, largest selection of firearms, state-of-the-art indoor firing range. They got you covered, and they're open 7 days a week. You want to go to the firing range? You can pay by the month or you can pay by the hour. They have the largest selection of guns, and they offer financing on all your firearms, accessories, optics, whatever you're looking for, they have you covered. And they also offer firearm safety training for first-time gun owners. 2atacticalrange.com or 236 East Navajo and Hobbs, proud sponsor of things that happen on this date in history.
On this day in 1040, Lady Godiva supposedly rode a horse naked through town to protest higher taxes. It was to settle a bet. Candymaker said, if you ride naked through streets, I'll name chocolate after you. Not really. That's a joke. In 1890, Wyoming became our 44th state. And in 1925, the Soviet Union created TASS. That's their official news agency.
TASS.
Their motto, all the news you're going to hear. They're the ones that did the whole.
No matter, we tell you what it is and you believe what we say.
And in 1966, Orbiter 1 launched on its mission to the moon. Ironically, Orbiter 1 landed on the moon while Lander 1 orbited the moon. And in 1985, after causing an uproar by changing the formula on their classic, Coca-Cola announced it would resume selling the old formula of Coke as Classic Coke.
It was the birth also of Joke Cola, triple the caffeine, triple the sugar.
And in 1999, the U.S. women's soccer team won the World Cup, beating China on penalty kicks at the Rose Bowl. You're welcome. Today is Chronic Disease Day, Global Energy Independence Day, National Pina Colada Day, National Kitten Day, International Town Criers Day, and National Carahue Day. Don't even know what that is. Day 50 days till Labor Day weekend. Today's birthdays. Isabella Merced is 24. She is the Hawk Girl in the new Superman. Not to be confused with Hawk Tuah Girl. Perry Edwards is 32. She is Little Mix singer. Singer Jessica Simpson turns 45 today.
She's still blonde. She's still fun.
45. I'm pretty sure that's her age. That wasn't just rising her IQ. Cher and the late Greg Allman's son, Elijah Blue, turns 49 today. Wonder how many Cher final tours. Sofia Vergara turns 53 today.
God bless you.
Gary Laveau of Rascal Flatts turns 55 today.
I wish him a happy birthday, and I can't find him, Blake.
All right, moving on.
No, here he is. There you go.
Former Jaguars coach Urban Meyer turns 61 today, no relation to Oscar.
Hey, quit grabbing on women in bars.
Jeff Bergman turns 65 today. Now, in case you don't know who that is, he's the current voice of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Now, ironically, it's the same day that Mel Blanc, the original voice, died of a heart attack in 1989. Is this day. Singer Neil Tennant turns 71 today.
Pet Shop Boys.
Amen.
Yeah.
In a western town, a dead-end world, the eastern boys and western girls.
Oh.
And the superstar behind the 18-minute, 20-second masterpiece, Alice's Restaurant, Arlo Guthrie, is 78.
I went down to get my physical examination one day, and I walked in.
They found 2 eggs.
Drunk the night before, so I looked and felt my best when I...
Thank you.
Fred Gwynn left us in 1993. It would have been his birthday. Of course, he played Herman Munster, and he was the judge, and My Cousin Vinny. Ron Glass left us in 2016. He was Shepard on Firefly, and you'll probably remember him as Detective Ron Harris on Barney Miller. David Brinkley, former NBC and ABC News correspondent, would have been his birthday, but he left in 2003. Arthur Ashe, the first African-American inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. He died of AIDS in 1993, which he said he acquired in a blood transfusion. And Adolphus Bush, it would have been his birthday, had a couple of claims to fame, probably Anheuser-Busch.
Bud Light.
And finally, Ronnie James Dio, who left us in 2010. He was with a few bands, Rainbow, Black Sabbath, Dio, Heaven and Hell. And, of course, that's Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
But that's Ozzy.
Yeah, that's Ozzy.
I was going to say, that sounds just like Ozzy.
Ronnie Dio took over for Ozzy when he left Black Sabbath. And, Kevin, those are the things that happened on
he
this
was
day in
young.
history.
Yeah, that's Ozzy when he had brain cells.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different look, for sure. All right, we got a special guest coming in the studio. We'll talk to him. We got to get to the boob of the day. We'll get to that in just a second. Morning show this morning being brought to you by Rig Outfitters and the Home Store. Broadmoor Mall. They have an extensive collection of FR everything. If you're working in the patch and you need FR, they've got it. They also have all your hard hat, safety gear, and your steel toe boots. Looking for boots, they have a section of boots that are just $99 a pair. And while you're there, you might want to look at the furniture, appliances, and electronics. They offer zero-down financing. Go to the website this morning. It's rigoutfitters.com, or in the Broadmoor Mall. They're right next to Scrub Outfitters. Scrub Outfitters, if you're in the medical field, they have the largest selection of scrubs in 100 miles. Dickies, Healing Hands, Beck Couture, Peaches, all the big name brands, plus comfy shoes, and they carry a large selection of compression socks and all the equipment that you might need. You can follow them on Facebook. It's Scrub Outfitters, right next to Rig Outfitters and the Broadmoor Mall. We're coming back. We'll do the boob of the day, then get to the good news of the day. Our special guest at 9:06, we're going to talk about New Mexico.
And the governor's race. And we'll wait for him to come in because I don't want to mess up his name.
Right. Again.
We'll just say Ken.
So Ken will be in with us. So we'll let him explain coming up in just a bit. It's already 8:45. Boob of the day up next, plus the good news of the day. We're Beyond the Breakfast Club.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. Devastation has hit Ruidoso again as historic flooding caused the Rio Ruidoso River to rise 20 feet, which is 5 feet higher than the previous record. Tuesday night, a 4-year-old girl, 7-year-old boy, and a 40 to 50-year-old man were swept downstream and killed. Dozens had to be rescued and homes were destroyed after violent flash flooding.
So at this time, we've got the 3 victims. At this point, we're not releasing, and we haven't released any information about their whereabouts or identities, simply for the fact that some of them are still being identified, and we're not going to have that information out before we contact families.
Search and rescue will continue, and crews have already rescued more than 65 people from the floodwaters.
The majority of the rescues started in the Upper Canyon area, and then we had one mid-Sutterth and in Gallon Canyon. We had people in trees, we had people in the water, people trapped in houses with water coming into them. You name it, we were having to address it.
Ruidoso Downs Racetrack has also been damaged from the flooding, and Ruidoso Mayor Lynn Crawford said,
I don't want to speak for the racetrack ownership, but I have been in contact with them. The racing season is canceled for 2025.
And that has an economic impact on the area.
Well, I can tell you the racetrack is $150 to $160 million a year impact to this region, that it employs 500 to 600 people out there. This was the second leg of the Triple Crown of quarter horse racing, which was supposed to start this Friday, Saturday, and conclude on Sunday. That is not happening. Those are multi-million-dollar races. So as you can imagine, a lot of that revenue will not be coming into town.
On Wednesday, cleanup began, including help from the New Mexico National Guard.
So we did have assets before, during, and after from the National Guard. They're a wonderful partner, and we're really glad to have them.
Said Emergency Manager Eric Queller. Village officials are asking anyone who is missing family due to the flooding to call the Ruidoso Emergency Operations Center at 575-637-0398. And the Ruidoso Community Center at 501 Sudworth Drive is open for anyone needing temporary refuge, as well as the ENMU Ruidoso campus and the Angus Church of the Nazarene. The Humane Society of Lincoln County stated it will post about any lost animals that come in and ask anyone with a missing pet to call 575-257-9841 to make a report. Village officials are asking for those not already in the Ruidoso area to please not come to the area until it is safe, and those wishing to help should contact the Community Foundation of Lincoln County at cfolc.org.
We are not encouraging people to come to Ruidoso right now. It's just not safe. We have a lot of damage that's being done. While there are folks in town that is safe for them to be here where they're at, but no, we are not encouraging people to come to town.
And that's the way it is. I'm Blake Ovard. This is MTD Radio News.
Hi, this is Siobhan with Fusion Medical Spa, here to tell you about our July specials, which include our M-Sculpt procedure, which is like doing 20,000 crunches in 30 minutes. M-Sculpt is an easy and quick solution to building muscle and reducing fat in your body. Right now, buy 2 treatments and get 1 free. Laser tight sculpting that melts body fat is also discounted with buy 2, get 1 free. Fusion is also offering 25% off laser hair removal and $200 off our photo facial treatments to get rid of unwanted sunspots. So telephone today for a free consultation, 575-257-4SPA. That's 575-257-4772.
Thanks, Siobhan. And if you're really looking to save money on regular procedures, Fusion offers a membership, which includes monthly discounts. So telephone today for a free consultation with Dr. Stephen A. Rath at Fusion Medical Spa. 257-4SPA. That's 257-4772. For Fusion Medical Spa in Ruidoso in the River Crossing.
Free furniture. Now at National Furniture Liquidators, you can't beat free. Buy any bedroom set, $9.99 or more, and get a free mattress. Buy any sofa, get the matching love seat free. Plus 40% off any sectional, dining room, or entertainment center. And 50% off all home office and accessories. Plus great financing options regardless of your credit. Free furniture now at National Furniture Liquidators. When it comes to value, quality, and selection,
nobody beats Shorty.
I was driving home from work.
I got off the bus on my way home from work.
I drive the same way every day.
I get off the same stop every day.
Driving through the intersection.
Walking through the intersection.
I didn't even see her.
I didn't even see him. Then it was too late.
When you're walking.
When you're driving,
look for me.
Drivers, look for pedestrians. Pedestrians, look for drivers. Sponsored by NMDOT and aired in cooperation with the NMBA and this station.
If you need an aggressive, experienced personal injury attorney who is honest and true, you need to get the Gorilla.
So I'm 23 years old. I worked at a warehouse, and I took an injury which caused the amputation of my right leg. I was approached by a specific firm, and they turned my case down within 5 minutes. I was told to come visit the Gorilla Law Firm, and immediately they saw potential in my case. And I tell you what, Gorilla Law Firm had my back when no one else did. The Gorilla Law Firm made me a multi-millionaire. And if you're injured, you call the Gorilla Law Firm too.
The Gorilla Law Firm, 3130 North Grimes and Hobbs, or call 575-964-2720.
This show is powered by Permian Ford. Stop by and see Daniel Vellis today.
Snooze. Need more snooze.
Be in the Breakfast Club. Substantial penalty for early withdrawal. Listen to the end, because you might, miss something. Be part of the show. Call 877-396-W105.
8:51. It works if you turn your mic on. 8:51. We're going to get to the boob of the day, good news of the day. Quick check of the weather. This morning being brought to you by WWRV3.com. Call them at 988-0392. Look, if you're looking for a affordable, quiet place, a nice place to park your RV while you're working around Carlsbad, they have 3 RV sites. 162, well, 3 RV location parks. They have 162 RV sites. 30 and 50 amps available, all your utilities. That includes high-speed internet, very well lit up, and they are pet friendly. Check them out on the web, WRV3.com. There we go again with that www. I haven't said that in years, but it's the WWRV3.com. Check them out today. Weather for southeast New Mexico, high temperature today, sunny and about 93. For Ruidoso, finally maybe some sun this morning, 87 for the high, but rain in the forecast this afternoon, 30%, more rain tonight and into tomorrow, another 30% chance of rain for your Friday afternoon. And Albuquerque is totally opposite. It's a heat advisory in effect, high 102, maybe some isolated sprinkles in the afternoon. Cloudy skies, 70 tonight, 101 tomorrow. By the way, want to keep up with the forecast, go to W105radio.com. Morning show this morning being brought to you by La Tienda in Carlsbad, home of the taco bar, home of the big savings. In fact, I failed to mention about their made-from-scratch tortillas. Made from scratch multiple times a day. They've got corn tortillas, they've got flour tortillas, and, of course, chips. They've got the shells. They've got everything. And big savings going on right now, like chicken tenders, $2.49 a pound. Bacon, 12-ounce pack of bacon from Food Club, $3.99 for the pack. Get the top sirloin steak, $7.99 a pound. And sirloin cut pork chops are just $8.49 a pound. Produce department, Bernier cherries are $3.99 a pound. Red ripe tomatoes, 99 cents a pound. Fresh zucchini and squash, just 99 cents a pound. Avocados, 2 for $3. And the deli department, start off with the bread, wheat bread, split top, $1.58 a loaf. And get the turkey, smoked turkey, $7.99 a pound. And the ham, honey ham, or smoked ham for $4.99 a pound. And if you're looking for a refreshment, you can find all the refreshments you will ever need. Always the coldest beer in town. And, of course, Coke, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, and other flavors. Get 20-pack, 12-ounce cans for $9.99 at La Tienda. Monica and the Tex. Boob of the day up next. Good news of the day coming up. We've got all of that on the way.
The fake paper illegals in the oil field are keeping wages down. They work for low wages. That does make sense. Leftist Blake Hader said gas in Carlsbad is $4.19. Carlsbad, California.
Yes.
And this guy says deport illegals and put welfare recipients to work. B. I'm not going to read that one. That's it. We're good with the text.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have no problem with a guest worker program. We could actually put the guest worker program on steroids and give 2 million guest worker visas out. And I am actually for extending instead of 6 months. Some of those can come for 6 months. Some can come for a year. I'm okay with extending that.
Sure.
But what I'm not okay with is circumventing the system.
Right.
And people that did it legally and paid damn good money to do it legally and were vetted and all of that type of stuff. I'm not okay with skirting the system.
No.
Because when we start budging on the little things, that's when we start losing this country. By the way, speak to anybody from Europe and they will tell you the exact same thing.
Right.
They've lost. They're done.
Yep.
England is completely lost.
Yep.
I don't know if they will get it back.
There's a lot of people in England that are worried that Sharia law is going to take over.
That's what I'm speaking of. And the same thing with French. And you've heard the French coming back recently and saying that they are going to start deporting people. If you're in the country, you break the law, you're going home.
Yep.
So don't get afflicted with all that. All right, let's get to the boob of the day, being brought to you by Desert Functional Medicine Aesthetics, medical professionals on staff ready to serve you. They offer functional medicine. They offer natural supplements, stem cell therapy, ozone therapy if you're living in pain. Hey, call them today. There are alternatives to pain pills and going under the knife. There are. And ladies, if you're suffering with hormone issues, menopause, premenopause, they offer hormonal optimization. And guys, you've got hormones too.
Right.
You could be very hormonal and not know about it. That your hormones could be the reason why you're laying on the couch and not doing anything. Talk to them about testosterone replacement therapy. Look, they do a lot of aesthetics, IV drips, list goes on and on. Find them on the web. Call them today, 575-964-8025. Proud sponsor of the Boob of the Day.
Nature scenes and abstract patterns are probably both good choices for your phone's wallpaper. But this guy's lock screen got him locked up. See, 46-year-old Jesse Lawrence Hale, remember that name, was recently treated at a hospital in Logan, Utah for an undisclosed ailment. And he left his phone behind. And that was bad news for him because as soon as hospital workers found it, they called the cops. Turned out his phone was loaded with child porn.
Oh, man.
And they never would have known because his phone was locked. But he made one of the images his wallpaper.
Oh.
God.
They saw it on his lock screen and reported him last Thursday. He got arrested after he walked into a police station on Monday to retrieve his phone. Now, he claims someone sent him the photo and said he should have deleted it. He also said it would be nice to pay a fine or take a class instead of going to jail.
Pay a fine?
Because he wouldn't survive if they send him to jail. They got a warrant to search his phone, and they found more than 20 illegal photos on it. And at that point, he asked them just not to tell his mom. He said he's got family in the area and didn't want them to find out. Again, his name is Jesse Lawrence Hale. That's Jesse Lawrence Hale, if you know anybody in Logan, Utah for that. They booked him on suspicion of sexual exploitation of a minor, which, of course, is a felony and makes you the boob of the day.
Boob of the day being brought to you by our buddies at Desert Functional Medicine Aesthetics. If you can believe this, former Joe Biden climate czar John Kerry admitted during an interview yesterday that Donald Trump is 100% right about the border and Democrats let the siege fall. The siege began. John,
I can't believe he would
Kerry,
admit that.
John Kerry, I'll have the audio for you tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah. Craziness. All right, we don't have time for the story, but I'll talk about it tomorrow. World War II American warship
that's a good
that
story.
they found 80 years after it was blown off in the battle. That they found the bow. So we'll talk about that. We'll do that tomorrow. All right, good news of the day this morning being brought to you by Farmers Insurance agent Herschel Rustin Hayes, Avenue D in Lovington, 575-396-0513. Home, auto, life insurance, commercial insurance. Get in touch with Rustin Hayes today. Proud sponsor of the good news of the day.
Michigan State Police shared footage of a helicopter crew finding an 83-year-old woman in a swamp on Tuesday. Now, she has dementia, and she had wandered off from her family. They found her about a mile away from her home, and she is okay, so that is good news. And a 29-year-old woman in Miami was driving to Wendy's last month when she saw a 97-year-old lady walking down the road. So she stopped, picked her up, and brought her to lunch. Now, she posted a video of it, and it blew up online and, of course, ended up changing the lady's life. She needed a new walker and help with bills, and people have now donated more than $20,000 on GoFundMe to help her out.
Wow.
Kevin, that is the good news of the day.
All right, Blake, we have a special guest coming up, and he's going to be talking about running for governor in the great state of New Mexico.
Ken Miyagishima.
So he'll be talking about his experience in government and other things. We'll get to him coming up in just a second. It's already 9:01. KWMW Mount Jamara, 105.1 FM. Also in Albuquerque at KDAZ AM 700 FM 96.9. And you can find us in Ruidoso at KWES 93.5. News this morning being brought to you by Roach Air Conditioning and Heating, your choice for your next HVAC job. If the air conditioner is not working, or it's working, but it's still 90 inside the house, you need Enrique Rocha. He is our go-to guy. When we have air conditioning problems, you know, when we have 100-degree temperatures and it's so hot outside, our air conditions need to be at about minimum 68 inside the building. Mm-hmm. It is a task that we turn over to Enrique Rocha. He can keep your air conditioning straight like he keeps ours straight. Call him today, 575-631-1999, Rocha Air Conditioning and Heating. We're coming right back. We'll get to our guest talking about the great state of New Mexico. I'm not even trying yet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait.
Miyagishima.
I'm going to wait, Blake, you linguist. We'll get to that coming up next. Tradio is on the way at 9:30.
We think.
Yeah. No, we're going to be on Tradio. We'll get to that, but we'll return. We're on the Breakfast Club.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. Brazil getting hit with a 50% tariff on imports to the U.S. over its treatment of its former president.
In a letter to Brazil's president, President Trump tied that high tariff rate to the trial of the country's former leader, Jair Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro is accused of attempting a coup following his election loss in 2022 and has been barred from running for office until 2030.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. 6 Secret Service agents were suspended for failures connected to last year's assassination attempt on then presidential candidate Donald Trump.
They were not fired. The deputy director defended the agency's decision not to sack anyone. Quote, "We aren't going to fire our way out of this. We're going to focus on the root cause and fix the deficiencies that put us in that situation."
That's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Sunday marks the 1-year anniversary of the shooting. America's listening to Fox News.
SDR Enterprises of Hobbs is your complete dirt work, hydrovac, hot oiler, and trucking service. Whether your needs are environmental, hauling materials, or right-of-way seating, SDR has you covered. Call 575-393-8420 to schedule service today. That's 575-393-8420. SDR Enterprises proudly serving homes, ranches, and businesses across Southeast New Mexico and West Texas. SDR is always looking to hire CDL drivers. Please visit SDREnterprisesLLC.com and contact us today for more information. SDR Enterprises is an equal opportunity employer with strong family values.
Carlsbad, get ready for the ultimate summer bash. Carlsbad Live, Cranked Up Country Nights, Cranked Up Records, and W105 proudly presents Wright's Carnival, the biggest carnival to ever hit Carlsbad. Yeah, I said it. July 17th through July 20th, head over to the Bob Forrest Sports Complex at 3213 West Lee Street in Carlsbad. It's gonna be heart-pounding thrill rides, fun kids rides, and a midway packed with games, delicious food, and so much more. Oh yeah. Grab ride passes for unlimited fun, perfect for families and thrill seekers alike. Don't miss Wright's Carnival, July 17th to the 20th at the Bob Forrest Sports Complex, 3213 West Lee Street in Carlsbad. It's a weekend of non-stop fun. Paid for in part by the City of Carlsbad Lodgers Tax.
Wanting an affordable, quiet place to park your RV while you're working in or around Carlsbad? WWRV is 3 RV parks with one goal: to be a quiet place for their working tenants. 162 RV sites with 30 and 50 amp available. All utilities are included in the price, including premier wired internet at each site for your gaming and movie streaming. WWRV is pet friendly and well lit with plenty of street lights. Get pricing and contact info by visiting their website at www.rvx3.com or call 575-988-0392 for WWRV.
Oh! Shooters, get ready. The 4th annual Freedom Place Fun Shoot, hosted by H.F. Sinclair, is set for Friday and Saturday, July 11th and 12th at the Eddy County Shooting Range, benefiting the Artesia FFA. The Clay Shoot kicks off with Friday Night Lights, gun boards, and dinner. Saturday's main event starts at 8 a.m. with 1 in 4 participants winning a prize. Gun board and lunch included. For registration and questions, call Robert at 365-5930 or the Artesia Chamber, sponsored by H.F. Sinclair. Registration deadline is July 1st.
Get ready for a real scorcher at Inn of the Mountain Gods and Casino Apache. It's the $145,000 heat wave of winnings. Play with your Apache Spirit Club card every Tuesday to qualify. Each drawing day, we'll draw 25 winners at both casinos to win up to $1,000 cash. The $145,000 heat wave of winnings at Inn of the Mountain Gods and Casino Apache. Must be 21 or older. Visit innofthemountaingods.com or see Apache Spirit Club for details.
Hey, man, turn that down. Where's my keys?
Hey, what's the rush?
I'm headed to the JC to sign up for some classes.
What's the hurry? We barely graduated.
I heard classes are filling up.
So what, you're gonna be a scientist or something?
Man, I could be a welder, police officer, barber, or maybe even a nurse. They make bank.
Yeah, right.
They even have audio and video classes for you.
Really? Hold up. Let me get my keys and I'll drive.
Just roll on out to New Mexico Junior College and register at nmjc.edu today.
Registration ends August 15th.
Looking for a better way to do school? Choose Life Education Co-op is now enrolling kindergarten through 12th grade, where learning meets purpose in a Christ-centered environment. Located at 810 North Marlin, we offer real academics, real values, and a real community that feels like family. But hurry! Enrollment closes July 12th. Call 575-329-0109 and grab your application today.
Call today, don't miss the line. Choose Life Co-op, it's your time.
This show is powered by Permian Ford. Stop by and see Daniel Bellis today.
Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
No promises, no boasting. Just a bunch of people having fun. Me, Monica, Blake, and you.
Think you'll come again.
All right, it's already 9:08 morning show this morning being brought to you by our friends at Fusion Medical Spa. Give them a call today. Dr. Rath will love to chat with you. They offer stem cell therapy. So if you're in pain, stem cell therapy, chat with them today. They'll offer a free consultation. And don't forget the entire month of July at Fusion Medical Spa in Ruidoso. They are offering many specials, including the M-Sculpt. M-Sculpt procedure, I'll say it again. Can you imagine doing 20,000 crunches in 30 minutes? M-Sculpt procedure does that for you. And there's a sale going on right now. It enables you to build muscle, reduce fat from your body, and when you purchase 2 M-Sculpt treatments, you get the 3rd free. They're offering laser hair removal, 25% off, photofacial, $200 off. Right now, that removes all the unwanted sunspots. They've got many specials. Check them out today at Fusion. And, of course, their number is 575-357-4SPA in the River Crossing in Ruidoso. And thoughts and prayers for everybody in Ruidoso.
Amen. Well, this morning we have a guest who is a 4-time mayor from Las Cruces. His name is Ken Yagashima. Did I say that right?
Very good. Very good. Thanks. Good morning.
And the reason that we wanted Ken to come in and be our guest this morning was because Ken is now running for governor of the great state of New Mexico, and we could use someone like him in the governor's office. So that's your lead-in, Ken, and I'm just going to say, will you introduce yourself to those people who don't know? And I kind of told them a little bit who you are, but tell them Tell them who you are.
Sure. Well, I appreciate that, Blake. Well, good morning, everybody. And I was trying to look up what they call people from Lovington, and it says Lovingtonians?
Lovingtonians?
Yeah. So,
Well, the great
morning.
thing about, being on this show
Is we're all over the
is that we reach Ruidoso, we reach Alamogordo, we reach
Albuquerque.
all of southeast New Mexico, Artesia, Carlsbad, Roswell, Hobbs, and now we're in Albuquerque.
Gotcha.
So,
And I heard one of my colleagues advertised in here, so want to say hi to Rustin, and might as well say hi to Mark as well.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll advertise with you as well. But Rustin, I can't see you. I got to run to Hobbs right after this.
Yeah.
But yes, my name is Ken Miyagishima. I am the former mayor of Las Cruces. I was mayor from 2007 to 2023. Before that, I was a city councilor for 6 years, and before that, I was a county commissioner.
Wow.
So
you remember when Las Cruces was a lot smaller?
Oh, absolutely. And I grew up in Las Cruces since 1971. I was born in Biloxi, Mississippi. Keesler Air Force Base.
Okay.
And my dad was in the Air Force, and so my mom was from Alamogordo, and so we moved to Alamogordo in 1969, and then in 71 we moved over to Las Cruces.
So we see a lot of things going on in the state, and we're blessed to have a surplus.
We are.
And I always say, thank God for the oil and gas industry in this state. So I'm going to start off. Are you pro oil and gas?
I'm pro oil and gas. In fact, they represent probably 30% of the state's budget, the money. I mean, this, every year, every other year when I was mayor and I'd get new city councilors coming in, they were always anti-business.
Right.
Well, most of them, not all of them. And I would tell them, listen, 60% of our money came from businesses. And so we have to understand this.
Yeah.
And we won't be able to do what we do without them. And so likewise with the state's budget. Oil and gas is going to be really huge. In fact, I was just showing Blake, there's this big dam that we have in Las Cruces that the Corps of Engineers built, and it can hold up to 3 billion with a B gallons of water if needed, right? And it's to protect the city. And I stop and think about how, like a couple of years ago, or usually every year, thanks to oil and gas, there are surpluses, right? And the current executive, they'll dole out money for things, and they're good things. But I think there's got to be a time where we're going to have to spend 1 year specifically to build this infrastructure. Like, for example, whether it's in Ruidoso or whatever, Taos, whatever places that have their earth's been scorched, it's not going to be that expensive to build something like what we have there in Las Cruces.
Something that keeps
the water
in this tragedy, like what just happened.
As I see our buddy Lynn Crawford on Fox Now right now speaking at a press conference, those guys have been.
We lost 2 kids and an adult.
But they have suffered for 2 years in a row.
Well,
and they're resilient. The people of Ruidoso, they understand how to rebuild and how to come back. But man, this is tragic.
And the bad thing about it is, even if you have flood insurance, there's usually just certain amounts, and then even that, it's not all of it's covered. So then they have to buy or use loans or all these things to, even if they are low percent loans, this is something here where government can come in and help, to really build that infrastructure so that not only do they protect their investments, they won't lose everything.
Well, and they, flood insurance, they have come out. I'm from Louisiana originally, so my sister was telling me about flood insurance. Her flood insurance went from $3,000. It went from $700 a year to like $3,800 a year in 1 year. I mean, and then they also said you have to do this. Her house is on on 24-inch pads and has no history of flooding, none. And they said you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, and then we're going to hit you with going from $700 to $3,000 a year.
And I can tell you that if we were able to do this, like what I was talking about, not only would it protect the investments of those in that area, but their flood insurance actually would drop.
Right. It would protect the investment the federal government and the state has put into Ruidoso.
I don't know about my other two opponents, but I'm probably the only one who's actually, and I have the certificate to show it. I was an advisor to Craig Fugate, who was the director of FEMA years ago. So I've had that experience. I've had that background, and so these are some of the things that really, government can your government dollars can do to help invest in that infrastructure to protect you.
So what do you think's the number one way we can turn this state around? Because we are currently, our governor can, paint the pictures of everything is milk and honey and smells like roses. But the bottom line is we're at the bottom of the list for almost everything. How can we turn that around?
Yeah, and I have to tell you that I always joke with the mayor of Albuquerque that, Las Cruces is better, New Mexico State versus UNM, right? But I have to admit, Albuquerque is the engine of New Mexico. And when that engine is running good, then the whole state prospers. And so I think it's really important that Albuquerque have that engine running on all 8 cylinders, unless, of course, it's a Jaguar, 12 cylinders, right? Yeah. But what I'm trying to get at is it's important that investment there. And crime is really bad.
Oh, it's bad.
In fact, when I go to Albuquerque, and my wife sometimes, wants to take the car somewhere. I mean, I really worry. I worry where she's at. It's very dangerous. And so that's where, and there's something that I don't know if you were aware of. It's amazing. I talked to a syndicated columnist, and he didn't know about the Arnold tool. So if you go back 6 or 7 years ago when they did the bail reform, the Arnold tool is not mentioned, but for some reason, it's my understanding that the New Mexico Supreme Court added this assessment that judges have to adhere to.
I do remember that.
And what it does is it really handcuffs the judges from making their own discretion whether or not you should stay in jail or not. And so that Arnold tool says, hey, if you don't hit these certain requirements in a certain time frame, you got to let them go. That's why you see so much of this catch and release.
Right.
So that has to be eliminated for one.
Right.
And then the second thing that Albuquerque, well, okay, there's a thing called the this particular doctrine that you could sue police officers. I mean, they're just doing their job.
Right.
And that's got to be reversed.
Right.
Because who wants to be a police officer? And then I actually had agents, because that's the business I'm in. I've actually had agents saying, hey, Ken, there's some police officers who want to be able to know if they can buy insurance to protect themselves.
Sure.
Because they get sued. That's terrible. And
I mean, I think police officers that are doing their job should have immunity. And when we reverse that course, that was a bad course to reverse.
It's called qualified immunity.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that and this is the inconsistencies, and then I get it, because I used to be I didn't sell it, but I used to be the chairman of the insurance authority for the whole counties for years ago when I was a county commissioner. And we were self-insured. And so what I'm trying to get at is when you're self-insured, you have a lot more flexibility than when you deal with an insurance company.
Sure.
And so these are some of the things that the state can take a look at, and to be able to provide our sheriff's deputies, our police officers, to make sure that they know that, they're taken care of. In fact, unfortunately, we lost a deputy just yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
A couple days ago.
Right.
And he's a young man, has a family, and it's important that worst case scenario that we take care of their families.
Yeah.
These men and women put their lives on the line for us.
Amen.
And we got to do what we can to make sure that they're taken care of. But getting back to Albuquerque and the qualified immunity, that's got to be reversed. Catch and release has got to be reversed. And those two things there. And then I wanted to have what they call a Metro Police Department. Okay, so these are state police officers who, because the legislature allowed us to bring back retired police officers.
Sure. Right.
And so I thought, okay, what better way than those who want to still serve from various cities, whether they're from Albuquerque or Las Cruces, or Roswell, Hobbs, wherever, and they know what's going on. Mm-hmm. They can still work for the departments, and they have full authority throughout the state.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll just help. I'm not here to take over the police departments, just to help put them in some of the most crime-ridden areas. Like, for example, let's take Albuquerque. Let's take Central Avenue. They used to be a great place to visit.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
Yeah, and so I remember when Giuliani cleaned up Manhattan.
Right.
Times Square.
Yep.
There was a time where it was really dangerous.
it was bad.
And when he started putting in substations and doing things, that's the place to visit. And
just having a presence.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just one thing. I've actually came up with a way to help reduce the price of housing, so that if you wish to purchase a home, you can do that. If we have time, I can go over it with you.
Yeah. I mean, that is I hear the governor all the time talking about housing, but our population, something I don't get, and maybe you can explain to me, because our population is really not grown. I mean, we've grown
small.
Very, very small. So, she keeps saying we need more housing. Why do we need more housing when we haven't had any population growth?
Well, this would be to incentivize
people to buy houses.
Right. So I have it in 3 phases. But so phase 1 was going to be to incentivize, say, if I want police officers to come from Arizona, Colorado, Texas. Okay, so there's 7 medium security prisons around the state. And what I mean by that is this. These aren't murderers. These aren't rapists. These aren't people who do bad things to children. These are people who did fraudulent some stuff.
White collar crime.
Correct. And so I would like to, let's say they have the last 2 years in their term, we pull them out, we teach them a trade. Plumbing, electrical, HVAC, welding, firefighting, things of this nature, so that they're actually paying. So the state would enter into a public-private partnership with contractors. Okay, so there's the 2 most expensive part of building any type of structure is material and labor.
Yeah.
So if we provide the labor, and these contractors can still build their houses, but now the prices are going to be cheaper, a lot cheaper, at least 25% cheaper. So
because they don't have to pay for the labor.
Yeah,
exactly. And so it'll be something there that if we have a police officer from Oklahoma or Texas wants to come here, we can say, listen, we can sell you this house at 7% interest fixed for 30 years. And if you take a look at what the interest that's accumulated over 30 years, you may buy that house for $250,000, but when you add the interest in there, you're giving us, say us meaning the state, about $500,000 in interest. I'm also a finance professor at New Mexico State, although I took a sabbatical for about a year. I told the dean, and he was good with it. I just teach one class. I teach the personal finance part. So, and while I'm at it, I actually have a way where I'm going to be able to, for your listeners who are retired from PARA or ERB, I have a way to actually refund that so that they'll get their benefits back.
Yeah.
Because right now they've had to cut all that.
Right.
But I have a pretty good way. I ran it by the dean. I ran it by the professors, the PhD types there at New Mexico State in finance, and this plan would work.
So immigration's been a problem in the United States, and it's been a problem in New Mexico. But our governor's kind of turned a blind eye to immigration issues. How do we handle immigration? I mean, she has gone to the extent of saying that they're not going to work with ICE and that type of stuff. How do we fix that problem, being a border state?
Even when I was mayor, I was asked that question, and at that time, now in Las Cruces, the police chief is hired by the city manager.
Right.
There's only 2 cities that hire the police chief, and that's Albuquerque and Santa Fe.
Right.
But I had the majority, so I could speak with a fair amount of confidence, saying, listen, if the federal authorities contact our police department and they need assistance, we'll help them. So it's just that simple.
Right.
And that's why I want this Metro Police Department, because that way I don't have to, because I'm sorry, there are certain city councilors in probably in cities throughout New Mexico that are really soft on crime, and they probably tell the city manager, hey, tell the chief to not be so tough on things. Right. And, I'm sorry, but the city manager listens to the majority,
right?
If they want their job, because it could be that quick. They could lose their job that fast. And so, it's important that we have a strong and safe border. And I heard you earlier on the some of your comments. I agree with that. I don't think people should, go in and then expect to get citizenship. There's people who've spent years and a lot of money. And those forms are a lot of paperwork to fill out. they should have to go to theoretically the back of the line, whether it's 5 years or 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't have a problem with, I don't want to just give amnesty away, but if there's a penalty and they have to pay a penalty for 10 years to pay us back, then I don't have as much of a problem with that.
Now, if they've committed a crime, they got to go.
Yeah.
Right.
I tried to explain this. I live in the Philippines 9 months of the year, continue to do the show.
Wow.
So I'm back right now. And
a lot of people think I'm Filipino.
Yeah, if I get in trouble in the Philippines, I'm going home. There is no discussion. There is no hearing. If I'm arrested, the next day I'm put on a plane and I'm sent back home. It is that simple. And we allow people to come here and break the law, and we just continue to give them break after break, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't. The number one job of any political official is to protect the citizens that he serves or she serves.
And uphold the public trust.
Yeah,
Exactly.
God bless.
And before, if I may, because people are probably saying, "What, you Filipino?" So on
Yes,
my dad's
what
side,
is
my dad's Japanese American, my mom's Mexican American, and I have 28.5% indigenous American blood. So I'm a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Born in,
So, I was
born
gonna
in
say,
Mississippi.
But you grew up on the airports.
Actually, I was the youngest. So my dad only had. So after Keesler Air Force Base, we moved to Vandenberg Air Force Base. He had to go overseas in 1968 during the war. He was in Udorn Air Base, and then he retired in '69. Moved back to Alamogordo. But my brothers and sisters, they moved.
All over the place. Blake.
But I was going to say, like most people in America, you're a mutt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's not.
And I can eat. Although my wife, who's from Mexico, by the way, U.S. citizen, she goes, "Ken, why do you use soy sauce on your tamales?" I go, "Well, it's just the way I was born."
Because it goes on everything.
If they get a little dry, that's how you get them a little bit more.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, and we talked a little bit too about being from Las Cruces. A lot of times, people wonder where you sit on the political spectrum, and we kind of talked about this a minute ago. Fiscally, you're very conservative, right? So there's no doubt about that. Whereas as far as social programs go, where would you say you rely on that?
I guess I'm of that adage where I'd rather teach you something than just give it to you.
Right.
There was a city councilor who wanted to do the guaranteed benefit income, and I said, you do it one time. What about all the others who should be getting it?
Yeah.
I'd rather use that. Like there was this one group that was willing to teach these renowned chefs to teach these kids on how to cook. In fact, a lot of them ended up being chefs at some of the best restaurants in the nation.
Wow.
And that's an example of what we should probably do instead of just giving things away. I mean, we grew up in a we weren't poor, but we weren't rich. My dad was a retired NCO, was E6,
Right.
So I mean, they didn't get a whole lot of money, but my mom would sew, although to make ends meet, but thank God they did, and we were just taught you just have to work for what you've got.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask this question: why did you decide to run for governor?
There's just so much that I've learned. I see so many things that you've got people, and I truly mean this. They do their best to get into office, but sometimes they get bit by the bug, and then it falls apart, right? And there's so many things that I've learned that I know will work. Like, for example, whether it's the saving of the PARA or the ERB, or like we just talked about here about the flooding. One of the things I'm trying to come up with is a wildfire-only endorsement so that all insurance companies can use. Because if not, you're going to see people. Everyone who's in that are in areas that are in the forest,
right?
But they're it's going to be very difficult, or they're going to have to own that house outright because no one's going to insure them.
Sure.
So these are things that actually that I learned throughout the years, and I'm thankful for the public for keeping me in office for 30 years to learn this, and it's my way of giving back. And frankly, I don't like seeing New Mexico at the bottom of the list of everything.
Right.
I don't. I'm not I like to win.
Right.
And
that's important.
Yes. Absolutely. And I know we have so much potential. Why is it that Arizona Colorado,
Amen.
Texas is always growing, and we're just sitting here.
I've used Arizona as an example many times. That Arizona and New Mexico, we have the same. In fact, we have more
the same.
with oil and gas,
A little bit cooler weather.
and and we can we don't thrive.
I know you don't have time, but I'll share with you my water story on.
And
how
when
we're
you
gonna
come
do
back, I want to talk about education. I want to talk about public education and the PED being a political football, and how can we end the PED and take care of our kids, and the goal being to educate kids again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely want to talk about that. But before you get away, I want you to give people a place they can go to find out more about you. Where can they go? How can they contact you? All of that good stuff.
Sure, they can go to kenfornewmexico.com. And then I also have another one that's really detailed. It's kenmiyagi.info, I-N-F-O. And if they want to email me, it's miyagishima.ken@gmail.com. Or I have the phone even right now. It's 575-339-3582. Had someone call the other day and could not believe he got me on the phone. You know, it's not a problem. I mean, I put that phone out. I don't care. This is what I've done for years. For 30 years, I try to be as accessible as I can to the public.
Right.
I work for them. Right now, what we're doing is we're interviewing for a job.
Right.
These are my employers out there.
Right.
And I'm showing them my
I
resume.
think some people forget that.
I'm showing them my resume, and I'm telling them this is what I can do.
Awesome. Hey, we appreciate you taking the time coming in
Thanks so much.
speaking to you. We look forward to having you on in the future. Thank you so much. Tradio is coming up next. Be in the Breakfast Club. We're out.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. Devastation has hit Ruidoso again as historic flooding caused the Rio Ruidoso River to rise 20 feet, which is 5 feet higher than the previous record. Tuesday night, a 4-year-old girl, 7-year-old boy, and a 40 to 50-year-old man were swept downstream and killed. Dozens had to be rescued and homes were destroyed after violent flash flooding.
So at this time, we've got the 3 victims. At this point, we're not releasing, and we haven't released any information about their whereabouts or identities, simply for the fact that some of them are still being identified, and we're not going to have that information out before we contact families.
Search and rescue will continue, and crews have already rescued more than 65 people from the floodwaters.
The majority of the rescues started in the Upper Canyon area, and then we had one mid-Sutterth and in Gallon Canyon. We had people in trees, we had people in the water, people trapped in houses with water coming into them. You name it, we were having to address it.
Ruidoso Downs Racetrack has also been damaged from the flooding, and Ruidoso Mayor Lynn Crawford said,
I don't want to speak for the racetrack ownership, but I have been in contact with them. The racing season is canceled for 2025.
And that has an economic impact on the area.
Well, I can tell you the racetrack is 150 to 100